from the upper Midwest to the birthplace of jazz as this 5-game trip rolls on. Portland coming off a complete victory over the Timberwolves, and tonight inside New Orleans Arena, the 6-3 Trailblazers take on the 3-6 Hornets, who of course fired head coach Byron Scott yesterday. And welcome courtside, everyone. Mike Barrett along with Mike Grice. You never know what you're going to get in a coaching change, but normally in the first or second game after, you get a big effort by that team. Do you expect that tonight?
Well, usually if it's an assistant coach taking over and they like him, they'll give you a big effort. I'm not sure about a general manager taking over.
Jeff Bauer, no coaching experience, but he gets the reins tonight. Of course, Chris Paul, maybe he really has the reins. He's been great so far this season. What can Portland do to slow him down?
Well, you know, you have to slow him down. You can't blame him for the coaching change. He's had 20 or more points in every game this year. He's averaged 11 assists last year. He's down to 9, and that's the third in the NBA. But he's shooting 65% from threes, 62% from twos. That leads the NBA. Brandon Roy, on the other hand, just does it the same every night. He gets to the free throw line. He's made 57 free throws. Only Kobe Bryant and Wade are ahead of him in the NBA. You might look at his minutes. He's 4th in total minutes, so I know Nate McMillan might want to cut that a little bit. That's a lot of minutes for Brandon Roy to play.
Well, let's take a look at the McDonald's matchup. Chris Paul, 26-9 on the season. Brandon Roy balanced in all the categories, 21 points, 4 rebounds, and 5 assists. And, of course, Wednesday night, a big step in the maturation process of Greg Oden, and therefore the team, as he was dominant against Minnesota, and Portland used that balanced scoring. They know it won't be as easy tonight against this inspired Hornets team. We'll set the starting lineups when we come back.
One more time. One more time. Say you leave it.
Eric is a Ford sales consultant. He's very busy. Tell me something. What are all these people looking for?
MPGs, great deals, and great leases.
Seems reasonable.
Yeah, and Ford Fusion and Focus have it all. Great fuel efficiency for a great price.
Great fuel efficiency for a great price. What else do you need for a great year-end event? Oh, you need Eric, of course.
Sorry.
Now during the Ford year-end sales event, lease a 2010 Ford Fusion for $229 a month, or lease a new Focus for just $199 a month.
Look at Eric go. Told you. Very busy.
Hey, Duck fans. Who the best? Most complete. Ducks coverage around. Turn to Comcast Sportsnet.
10-5, touchdown, Terrence Scott!
Catch an encore presentation of the Ducks football game against Arizona State, Saturday and Sunday night, followed by a new episode of Oregon football with Chip Kelly. It all happens Saturday and Sunday night on Comcast Sportsnet. Your home for the Oregon Ducks. Game on.
Now that Clear has covered Portland with a super fast mobile internet, it's easy to video chat at a dog park.
Good. I'm at the dog park with Lulu.
Check in on your kids from your commute. Or watch your favorite shows online at the salon. Try doing that with internet from a cell phone company. But it's easy with Clear, because Clear has built a brand new WiMAX network, so you can get online at home and on the go for only $55 a month. It's all the internet you'll ever need.
All right, Ace, you got bases loaded, 2 outs. What are you going to do?
Well, what I really need to do is get to Grover's.
Grover Electric and Plumbing, the electric and plumbing store. Do-it-yourselfers and contractors love to shop. And everyday low prices that make you glad you stopped by.
I got it.
Grover Electric and Plumbing. It's where you go for what you need.
Out here in the West, winter's just another season for adventure. And we know how to make the most of it. Even braving the elements and slick conditions won't dampen our spirits. What matters most is arriving safely. And safety comes down to simply this: the right traction. From the company that knows it best, Les Schwab Tires. We help make getting there and winter safer.
Closed captioning of tonight's telecast is provided by Bimart. Celebrating 40 years of Portland Trail Blazers basketball. Blazers basketball is brought to you by Wells Fargo. Together, we'll go far. By Les Schwab Tire Centers, where doing it right is what we do best. By Sylvania, proud sponsor of the Portland Trail Blazers. And by McDonald's. Try McDonald's Angus Third Pounders with 100% juicy Angus beef. It's beefier beefiness. I'm loving it.
Well, the Trailblazers have won 4 straight, perfect on this road trip so far, but still 3 games to go here, and then in Charlotte tomorrow night, and then Monday in Atlanta. Let's get you the starting lineups tonight, brought to you by Clear Super Fast Mobile Internet. First, for the homestanding New Orleans Hornets, who lost their last time out, 124-104 to the Phoenix Suns. Chris Paul in the backcourt along with Devin Brown, David West, Peja Stojakovic, and Emeka Okafor. A bigger starting 5. We'll see how the Blazers' small starting 5 deals with that. Steve Blake, Andre Miller, Brandon Roy, the small forward, LaMarcus Aldridge, and Greg Oden, who had a great game at Minnesota. That is Portland's starting 5. And once again, the starting lineups brought to you by Clear Super Fast Mobile Internet. When we come back, we'll get the Northwest Ford Store's keys to the game from Mike Rice as we get set for the 3rd game of this 5-game trip. Hornets off to a slow start this season and, as a result, fired Coach Byron Scott yesterday. Blazers know they'll probably look like a different team tonight. Back in 1 minute to tip it off.
What would you do for a Klondike bar? What would you do now that it has a thicker, more chocolatey shell?
What would you do for a Klondike bar?
The mistletoe opportunist. The mashed potato bearded Santa. The dancing doofus. Want to be the life of the holiday party? Just give the new Scratch It from the Oregon Lottery. Lottery games are based on chance. It should be played for entertainment only, not investment purposes.
What are people willing to do for a Klondike bar now that it has a thicker, more chocolatey shell? So guess the next girl comes out of the gym. That's the next woman that came out of the gym.
What would you do for a Klondike bar?
Find out what happens next at KlondikeManCave.com.
And back here inside New Orleans Arena in New Orleans, Louisiana. First meeting between these teams this season. They meet this 3 times this year. Time to get you the Northwest Ford Store's keys to the game. For that, we turn to the coach, Mike Rice.
Well, whether it be Chris Paul or Steve Nash or any of those point guards, Aaron Brooks, you've got to stop the pick and roll. That's #1 option. I think they'll even run it more. They'll get rid of that Princeton offense and run this a lot more with Chris Paul. Points in the paint. Either team really likes to go down into the paint for a lot of their points. I think the team that can win that battle will win this game tonight. Free throw points, as we said, both teams like to shoot the 3-pointers. They like to penetrate, kick it back out. Free throw, if either team neglects that category, they'll lose this game.
All right, those are the Northwest Ford Store's keys to the game. Well, what's it like to face a team with a new head coach? We'll ask Blazer assistant coach Joe Prunty in the Corona Coaches Corner what he expects.
We expect a lot of energy tonight, obviously from us, but from them as well. They're coming off a tough loss, and with the coaching change, we expect them to play hard, but that's never a reason for us to, look forward to a game. We're looking forward to this challenge and playing here in a tough arena.
All right, that the Corona Coaches Corner, and coming to you tonight from New Orleans, Louisiana, in crystal clear high definition. And the high definition broadcast brought to you by Sylvania, by Funai. And I saw Jeff Bauer walking down the hallway, entering the building tonight, and a lot of security personnel sticking their hands out saying, "Good luck, coach." And he didn't quite answer right away. Then they said, "Good luck, coach." And he realized, that's right, I am a coach for the first time.
Yeah.
But Tim Floyd on that bench joining him as well. as the lead assistant coach. Just take a look at the numbers for these teams. The impressive thing about Portland is the fact, look at the defense right now.
Yeah, look at the defense for the Blazers versus the defense for New Orleans. 105 points. Byron Scott really hung his hat on his defense. Last year they only gave up 93 most of the season. Now they're giving up 105. Field goal percentage, they're doing well there, 46. 3-point percentage, both teams do well there. Free throw percentage, the Blazers lead the NBA almost 85% from the foul line.
And there you see Jeff Bauer, who was the general manager of this team. He's been with this franchise since back in 95, 96. He was an advanced scout, then a director of scouting, then an assistant general manager, then the general manager. He was an assistant coach. He was a director of player personnel. And then for the last 4 years has been simply the general manager, and now the head coach. What do you think they have in, what's the plan? Tim Floyd was brought in, but they say no, we're not going to name him the head coach in 10, 15 days. We're going to stick with this.
Well, they've got Hilton Armstrong and Ike Diagu. Will they go a little bigger, or will they use Julian Wright and some of the smaller guys? If you look at Byron Scott's record, it went from 18 to 38 to 39 to 56. And then last year 49, and the very disappointing loss to Denver in the first round, 4-1. One of the games they lost by over 50 points in game 4 here in this arena. All that built up the tension surrounding the general manager and Byron Scott, and you notice Tim Floyd right there. He always seems to lose a job but then fall into another job 10 minutes later. And this is not a bad job, because I'm sure he'll call a lot of the shots. Tim Floyd, Southern Cal's coach from last year.
Well, Peja Stojakovic 0 for 8 in their last game. Misses his first look here. And it seems like Portland always plays New Orleans when Peja's coming off a bad game, and then he has a good game against the Trailblazers. We'll see if that happens, but he misses his first look here tonight.
Because of his bad back, he's not as consistent as he was earlier in his career.
Brandon Roy back to Aldridge. He takes the perimeter 2 and hits over Devin Brown. They switched. Now Portland a little bit of trapping. Ooh, yes, and Marcus Aldridge telling Mark Hyatt Chris Paul traveled there when
he did travel.
When Aldridge surprised him with some defense.
Yeah, but you don't want to call it on Chris this early.
They want to go inside to Oden, and Okafor throws it away as they want to put a little pressure on Greg Oden, try and get him to foul early.
Okafor has had some great games against the Blazers, and throughout his career he's averaged a double-double, so he can score and he can rebound.
Oden turns on Okafor. The jump hook a little short. Rebound claimed by West inside.
They're not doubling Oden, so he needs to take a couple of more dribbles before he throws up that sky hook.
Over Oden this time, and Greg pulls down the rebound. And again, as we talked about, Oden ended the Minnesota game on Wednesday with no fouls. And it didn't sound like a big thing, but that's a big step in the right direction for him.
Oh, absolutely. As Nate said, I didn't know what to do with him not in foul trouble.
Aldridge, high arcing shot, a little bit long, and Stojakovic the rebound. Here comes Chris Paul. There goes Devin Brown. Oden blocks it at the rim. Picked up by Okafor, however, and he scores.
That's when the rest of the Blazers have to get used to Oden not fouling, but blocking a shot and then helping him out, getting the extra effort onto the rebound.
Now Brandon Roy wants to do a little business on Devin Brown. Brown slips down a little bit. Roy step back, missed it. Looked like he couldn't decide whether or not to bank it or to go straight.
That was a bank. It should have been.
Well, you knew we'd see more energy from the Hornets, and so far that's the case. Okafor short on the baseline. And the rebound to Blake, so we're tied at 2 here early on, and I think that Portland probably wants this game. Miller hit hard inside, scored the bucket, and he's fouled. Okafor will get the foul, says Bill Kennedy.
Bill Kennedy said it would have been a charge, but you're not outside that restrictive area, so it's a and-1, as you see right here.
And he had left foot in the lane, and
sure.
That's why Okafor picks up the foul. And Andre Miller will try and complete the three-point play. Miller 9 points, 10 assists at Minnesota Wednesday.
Notice New Orleans has not had a real set play yet. Normally at this time, Byron Scott would be up calling plays. They've really gone right into their secondary fast break, which is the high pick and roll for Paul. Now they have Brown bringing it up.
Brown leans baseline, and if he'd like that shot all night, Portland will give it to him. Miller, the trailer on the play is Roy. He stops from 15, and it's rimmed off. Rebound Okafor.
Boy, Brown took that shot and did not get back on Brandon Roy. Blazers running the floor very nicely.
Stojakovic drops it down to West against Aldridge. This is always a good matchup. A couple of very good forwards in the West, and West hits the 12-foot baseline jumper, and there is Jeff Bauer, the new coach of the Hornets, on the bench.
Boy, that's where West hurts us. He doesn't put it on the floor. He just kind of stares at you and then shoots that 14-footer.
Oden against Okafor. Spins baseline. There's the jump hook, and it just rolls off again. Two good looks from Oden, though, on that move over Okafor. He's getting that shot, and he's getting deep position.
Yeah.
Chris Paul, tipped by Aldridge out of bounds. The Hornets will have it.
I liked Oden's second shot much better than the first shot.
Both teams just 2 for 7 shooting to start this game.
Boy, on the pick and pop, you have to check West. He'll set the pick.
Chris Paul, top of the key now. Stojakovic going to back down Roy. Score Stojakovic 6'10". It's easy to forget that. He seems like a small wing shooter, but he's not. Devin Brown for 3, and it's off. And the rebound, Aldridge, he had to put it up. The shot clock was winding down. Now Portland looks to push a little again.
That was Nate's big concern. Can Brandon Roy stay with the 6'10" Peja?
And here's Oden. He squares up on Okafor now, goes back to the basket, backs him down, and is fouled by Okafor. That's 2, and he's going to have to sit down. That's big in this ball game early.
It really is, because they bring in Hilton Armstrong. He is not the scoring threat that Okafor is, and he doesn't block
There's
shots.
the reach. You see it there, the left arm on Okafor. And somebody's going to have to let Jeff Bauer know that, and now he knows. It's going to be Sean Marks who checks in. Marks was just activated. And Okafor mad at himself, and that's something that Portland normally has to do early, is adjust if Greg picks up 2 fouls. Yeah. But here it's Okafor, and now they can go to work as Oden has Sean Marks on him.
Yeah, and Marks will take Oden outside on one end. Oden has to take him inside on the other.
Oh, Blazers turn it over. Tried to go to Aldridge. Chris Paul hasn't even looked to shoot yet. Still hasn't. Devin Brown, top of the key. That's off. How should we interpret the fact that Paul hasn't even looked at the basket yet?
Well, I think
Oden inside. Nice spin by Aldridge, and he banks it in. Good pass by Oden. Give him the assist.
I think Paul wants to get everyone on his team thinking about their scoring, not just his scoring. He knows he can score anytime he wants.
All over Oden, who affected the shot. Stojakovic with no one near him, and that's off again. He's now 0 for his last 10, if you can buy the last 2 games.
Well, you can't give him a better shot than that. Normally in the old days, Peja would have sunk that one.
Now Miller, step back jumper baseline, threw it up long. Aldridge trying to grab the rebound and does. Clock did not reset. Ball didn't hit the rim. LaMarcus with 3. Chris Paul strips it. Aldridge down, and a foul on Chris Paul. He yanked on Aldridge's left arm and pulled him down, and look where the shot clock is. It's at 1, so a break for Portland.
Sure was.
Here's the last trip, the nice feed.
Yeah, and see, they're going to double team or stay close. Soon as Oden puts it on the floor back to the middle. If he goes baseline, they won't double him. But if he dribbles to the middle, they're going to double team him. That time Oden saw it coming.
Brandon Roy 0 for his first 2. Gets Brown in the air, and that bails him out. So free throws coming for the NBA's best free throw shooting team in Portland, shooting 85% from the free throw line, and that's 4 team fouls already on New Orleans. And as I was going to say a moment ago, New Orleans averaging 100 points a game, giving up 105. But I think Portland would rather this game be played in the 90s, and it certainly looks like early on at least that's what they're doing.
Yeah, and I think New Orleans, on the other hand, is going to continue to try to score. When you have a new coach come in, it always looks bad if the score is 80 to 81 or something like that. So
I think it looks worse if you lose.
Yeah, that's even worse than an 80-81 game. But he wants to score a little bit, run a little bit.
And as I mentioned there a moment ago, Tim Floyd, the lead assistant coach, and he'll handle the bench duties for the Hornets. Oden through the middle, nearly bumped Paul, but Chris Paul able to get it back out. Then West has that one rattle around and go home.
I would really make sure West touched the ball a lot. He seems to be the only Hornet that's hot tonight.
Aldridge against West on the baseline. Blazers clear it out. That's a high-arcing shot by West right in his face. Oden kept the rebound alive over Sean Marks. And then Miller goes down trying to defend Paul. Now Aldridge has to pick him up. That leaves West open on the baseline. Threw it up off. The rebound tip to Stojakovic. That's off again. And Oden tips to Blake. 3-on-2. Make it 4-on-2. Roy right around Chris Paul. Threw it up long. Rebound picked up by Chris Paul. I think Roy was expecting some contact, and there wasn't.
Well, it sure wasn't.
Sean Marks, baseline jumper. Portland 3 of 11. The Hornets 3 of 15. But this, believe it or not, I think favors Portland.
Yes, because they're playing a style right now, New Orleans, that they're not used to. Just run down and throw it up. Throw it up. They're used to much more structure, disciplined in their offense. So
Portland trying to pound it inside to Oden right now. Should be seeing Joel Prisbilla in a moment. Blazers throw up. Steve Blake mad at himself, but that's could be blamed on a lot of guys not knowing the clock. So far, not that we expected 130 to 125, but this has been 20% shooting to 25% shooting so far.
Break the bank at Spirit Mountain Casino, and you could win up to $25,000. Every drawing day, 9 Coyote Club members will be randomly chosen to smash open a piggy bank. Break the bank for 1, 5, 10, 15, even 25 grand in cash. Every bank breaker is a bona fide winner. Break the bank. Now through November 23rd at Spirit Mountain Casino, the Northwest premier entertainment destination.
Remember all the snow and ice last winter? Now it seems like everyone wants a 4x4 or all-wheel drive vehicle. And at Landmark Ford Lincoln Mercury, we have an incredible selection. Fusion, MKS, Mariner, F-Series, Taurus, Edge, Navigator, Milan, Ranger, MKZ, Flex, MKX, Escape. Don't get caught in snow and ice. Save on a 4x4 or all-wheel drive at Landmark Ford Lincoln Mercury in Tigard. We're just off I-5 at the Haines Street exit.
I faced one of the toughest challenges of my life right here. I couldn't swim, but I can still hear my drill instructor today. Don't quit. So I jumped in, apprehensive and scared out of my mind, but I came up a Marine.
The few, the proud, the Marines.
Well, a lot of rebounds to be had in this game so far. It's 10-10 in the rebounding category, and you normally don't have that many just halfway through quarter number 1, but the shooting has not been real good. Be among the first to watch KGW games live on Trailblazers.com. You can have stats, chats, and live online, all on Trailblazers Live. Only $3.99 a game or $39.99 for all remaining KGW games on Trailblazers.com.
Well, so far it's West versus LaMarcus Aldridge, the two power forwards, and there's the Blazer people that are from Portland.
They flew down here just to see the game.
Yeah.
And I think they had a good time on Bourbon Street this afternoon.
Oh, absolutely. We talked to them before the ball game, and they're fired up for this game. I hope the Blazers are as fired up.
Well, Joel Prisbilla going to check in now. Prisbilla had a good ball game at Minnesota. He had 11 rebounds and 4 blocks. 3 right in a row in that third quarter when Portland really put that game away. And James Posey checks in for the Hornets. There he is. And also Darren Collison, the rookie out of UCLA, has checked in.
Well, that tells us right away that Collison hadn't been playing at all. He was kind of in the doghouse with Byron Scott.
And a tip ball. Was it tipped by Portland? Yes. So Collison and Paul going to play together, but they can do that because Miller and Blake are on the floor.
Sure, absolutely, and that's probably why they got him in there so early. Okafor, of course, has foul trouble. That's why he's out.
And Greg Oden normally goes out at about the 5 or 6 minute mark. West, James Posey can do that. This one's long. Rebound, Prisbilla. New Orleans a good three-point shooting team. Always have been, it seems like. 7th best in the NBA at 38%. But so far in this game, 0 for 4.
Yeah, and both teams will shoot the three-pointers. They're not doubling it all.
Roy fouls. And ran a little trouble getting control of that ball. And his second turnover, Blazers with 3, and the first team foul on Portland here in the quarter. Now New Orleans has 4, so the Trailblazers have to remain aggressive and figure in a quarter where buckets are tough to come by, maybe go to the free throw line, get some there.
Absolutely, and it's not unusual for Paul to be around steals. He led the NBA in steals and assists for 2 or 3 years running, and so you got to be careful around Chris Paul.
Chris Paul gets Blake to back off, takes the shot, threw it up long, rebound tipped by Marks and kept alive, and he grabs it. Three-pointer, way off the mark by Collison. Portland in transition. Blazers should be leading by 20 at this point.
Yeah, they're trying to play a new system. You can tell they don't have a good flow going New Orleans.
They're 3 for 18.
And the Blazers cannot take advantage of it.
Brandon Roy, short on the long jumper. Portland, 3 for 13. Not much better. But neither has really taken advantage of the slow shooting start. Rudy Fernandez and Martell Webster will check in next to Vaughn Collison. Nearly misses everything again. And the rebound, Roy.
Andre Miller did a great job of overplaying Chris Paul, and they couldn't get the ball back to him.
Andre Miller, 12-foot baseline jumper. Guess what? And here come the Hornets. A little higher percentage. Collison, nope. We go the other way. Collison back up, headed back on defense. Portland with numbers. Blake says, I'll try a 3. Nope, that's long. Prisbilla, the offensive rebound. New shot clock. Blake, give another chance. It's usually good. Not this time. Not in this game. Nobody can shoot.
Oh, now I have to check the doors. I think there's a draft.
I think we ought to throw a new ball out there.
Something has to change.
Holy cow. 8 to 6.
This is amazing.
Posey. Prisbilla blocks it. Picked up by Aldridge.
Well, at least he didn't miss the shot.
Here's Roy. West fouls him. Free throws coming. I was saying, go to the free throw line. Maybe somebody can hit there, although Portland, the free throw line, has missed there as well, as Brandon split his first pair. 2:46. Hang in there, fans. I promise you this will get prettier at some point.
You don't have to dig too deep to get the breakfast you love.
And you can get a great breakfast every day for just $1. McDonald's Breakfast Dollar Menu. Fast, affordable, delicious.
A new season. A new passion. A new journey. It all starts here. Oregon versus Colorado State. Sunday at 3:30 p.m. on Comcast Sportsnet. Your home for the Oregon Ducks. Game on.
Discover exceptional certified pre-owned BMW values at Rasmussen BMW. Ask Rasmussen about its best price policy. There really is a Rasmussen difference, and you'll find it only at Southwest Jefferson at 20th and at RasmussenBMW.com. Go to Rasmussen BMW for great values on new BMWs. Ask Rasmussen BMW about its best price policy. There really is a Rasmussen difference, and you'll find it only at Southwest Jefferson at 20th and at RasmussenBMW.com.
Well, the teams so far, are you ready for this?
Yeah.
A combined 6 for 37 shooting in this ball game. 2:46 left in the opening quarter. Well, Aflac trivia question time.
All right.
Damon Stoudemire set the Blazer game record for scoring with 54 here in New Orleans back in 05. Who holds the Portland scoring record for a single quarter, and how many did he net? That is your challenge tonight. And fans, we want to tell you that if you're in the Portland area, you no doubt heard about the fire at Marysville Elementary on Tuesday. The kids relocated to the Rose City Park building, which is near the Rose Quarter, and we're trying to help out now, and we want you to help us. KGW and Schoolhouse Supplies are collecting for the teachers and the students. The collection the buckets will be out at the Detroit game on the 18th, the first game after this road trip. Bring new or gently used school supplies and help out these kids who have been relocated following that devastating fire.
Now, when it says gently used, that means no spaghetti stains or anything like that?
That's right.
Oh, all right.
And right now, free throws aren't even going in for the NBA's best free throw shooting team.
You know, it
has to be the ball.
Yes. The Hornets started out 2 for 7, and since then they're 1 for 14. And the two guys that are scoring, LaMarcus Aldridge and David West, haven't touched the ball in the last 10 possessions of both teams.
West is 2 for 3. Aldridge is 2 for 4, and they look phenomenal right now compared to most everybody else in this ball team.
They're going to the Hall of Fame compared to everyone else.
Roy hits 1 of 2 at the line, and the Blazers out to a 3-point lead that feels like 15. And you foul on the perimeter.
Yeah, and you can see apparently Jeff Bauer saw the same thing as we did, as they tried to get the ball into David West, and LaMarcus Aldridge fouled him.
So Martell Webster, Jared Bayless. Blazers will give them a try.
And they will try to get West really involved in this offense.
Chris Paul over Bayless, the early call for Jared, and he grabs the rebound. So Chris Paul is 0 for 3. Stojakovic 0 for 3. Devin Brown 0 for 4. Brandon Roy 0 for 4. Maybe Steve Lake 0 for 3.
Maybe it's a tribute to Byron Scott that everyone will miss shots now.
Then they agreed on this. Bayless drives down the middle and scores. That's the way. Get yourself a little higher percentage shot. And Jared Bayless has done very well with the minutes he's been given as of late. Chris Paul through the middle. Priscilla tracking him. Paul throws up a wild shot. Blazers big inside. Not easy to drive in there. And Bayless played some good defense. Now Bayless the other way. Martell Webster tees up a 3. Long. And a loose ball foul on LaMarcus Aldridge. That'll be his second. And Aldridge, kind of a touch foul. He's talking to Mark Hyatt about it. And I think what he's telling him is that didn't affect him. He got the rebound. As Travis Outlaw will check in, and Aldridge will sit down. So 2 fouls on LaMarcus. Only 3 team fouls on Portland. Actually 4 now.
And that was unfortunate because the length of LaMarcus was bothering West a little bit. Now I think they'll go to him. Travis is going to have to really be focused.
Collison gets to the key and pops.
Blazers helped out a little bit too much when Collison got the ball on the weak side and just went right to the basket and stopped, and he didn't want any part of Joel Prisbilla.
That snaps that 1 for 16 run for the Hornets. Travis Outlaw takes a tough 2. Missed it badly. Prisbilla grabs the rebound. He's fouled, but can't get it down. And, you know, nobody can ever tell me, and I know it doesn't ever seem like this should be the case. Missing is contagious, and not only for among teammates, but teams, because we've seen this before, and there's good defense being played, but it's not exactly the Great Wall of China at either end.
No, believe me. It has, like you said, it has a little bit to do with defense, but it just has more to do with, you're right, it's kind of like a virus that in the building somehow, it's just affecting everybody.
Because we're actually close to the field. Darius Sangaila checks in. And Marcus Thornton out of LSU.
And Sangaila hasn't played a lot of basketball for this team. And so they're putting people in the ball game. Marcus Thornton, of course, is a local favorite, LSU for 2 years, so he hadn't played at all. So they're trying to just dig deep and do something.
Blazers 4 of 7 at the free throw line. That's when you know that there's something wrong. But cut through the middle. Nice job by Rudy Fernandez as he got right in the way of Marcus Thornton. That ball went off Thornton's hands, and they turn it over for the second time. Maybe Portland, now with less than a minute left, leading it by 4.
Yeah, maybe we call Rich Patterson. He's always big on the records. That so
all-time low against an opponent for a quarter is 8 points. Did you think Scott Zachary would have?
Scott Zachary was right on it. I was just seeing if he was.
Rudy zips a pass to Outlaw. Shot clock at 8. Oh. Long 2.
Gee.
Portland can get better than that.
They have to get better than that.
Rebound claimed by Collison.
Even on a 2-on-1.
Here's Posey against Martell Webster. Blazers should get a final look. About a 7-second difference. Shot clock and game clock. Blazers lose track of Thornton, and he scores easily.
There's no one out there that really is a threat. You don't have to double.
Bayless fouled by Collison. Free throws coming.
Boy, is that
not a smart foul by Collison.
Well, has anything been smart this whole quarter?
No, not particularly. I think you have been your normal wise self.
Thank you.
Other than that.
Thank you. I've really been off my game also a little bit here.
Yeah, I was
just watching this game. You know, and
New Orleans tends to do that to people.
Yeah, especially head coaches after 9 games. Damn.
I was thinking more of Bourbon Street, but that's all right.
Oh, okay. All right.
Not that you had anything to do
no.
with that.
Of course, you know, I'm starting to think maybe I should have checked on the guys, both teams.
Yeah, I don't think so.
No, I don't think so. Both teams really wanted this game. Blazers, of course, are looking at the future schedule, and it's not the toughest the Blazers have ever played.
Shot clock is off now. Bayless made a pair. Portland a 4-point lead. Collison with 5 left. He threw it away. Portland ball. 3-point. Oh, they're going to say touched by Portland.
I don't know about that.
Not sure. Couldn't tell from here. That's for sure.
And Bill Spooner doesn't miss very often.
Sure doesn't. 3.1. Sangaila baseline. And Thornton reverses it in. So, man. But at this point, I don't know what to make of that first quarter. So how it ends with a buzzer-beating shot doesn't pack the excitement it normally would.
No.
Because Villa got hit right in the throat, and I think he's going to be all right. But Portland looking to stay perfect on this road trip with a couple of games left after tonight. But Portland shooting 20%. New Orleans a scorching 23%.
What? The Dairy Queen double cheeseburger meal is just $3.99? This could be the greatest deal of all time.
I give you fire. You give me rock. Good deal.
Oh. Yep, the double cheeseburger deal's still the greatest. And less painful. The 3rd-pound double cheeseburger combo with fries and a drink, all for just $3.99. It's quite a deal.
This winter, stay on the road and on budget with great accessories from Bimart's Automotive Department. For a great start every time, rely on Bimart brand by Exide Automotive Batteries. Right now, the 84-month auto battery is just $56.99 with exchange. With superior quality and easy installation, choose from a full line of Trico wiper blades at great everyday low prices. Bimart has a full line of the supplies and accessories you need to keep your cars and trucks running great. Cash in on sale prices now through November 18th at Bimart, just right for the Northwest.
Hear the mighty trumpets singing loud. Feel the Holy Spirit lift you high. Go from heavy laden to burdens light. Past the sideline, new bank child. It's on.
Hi, may I help you? Yes, we're looking to save on car insurance, even if that means we have to shop all day, right, honey?
Yep, all day.
Good thing you're starting here. We compare your Progressive Direct rate to other top companies, so you can save money. Look, we saved a lot.
And quick, too.
And no more holding our purse. It's a European shoulder bag.
It was a gift.
Shopping less and saving more. Now that's Progressive. Call or click today.
Well, lowest scoring quarter of the season for Portland so far, 14 points. They had a 32-point quarter on Wednesday and a 35-point quarter, but not so far tonight. Well, be sure to watch for great values in upcoming games, such as the game against Detroit on the 18th. Get your tickets early for the best possible price and seating options. 797-9600. The number to call. Jared Bayless in early February last year here. Blazers trailed by like 17 heading into the fourth. Chris Paul went down, and really this was the coming out party for Bayless.
It really was. That was one of the big comeback games of the Blazers all year. You know, I'd love to see Oden back in there a little bit, simply because he can go against Marks and really, I think, score against them.
Blazers with the ball. Webster past Marks. Reverses that up and in with the left hand. Blazers a 4-point lead somehow.
No one ever accused Marks of being a shot blocker, so you can test that in there.
3 by Thornton stepping back is good. So 7 off the bench for the rookie out of LSU. Here's Bayless beating them all down the floor, right around Songaila, and banks it in.
It's another team that you can run the court on. Posey, you know, he used to be fairly quick, but age has caught up to Posey.
But do you want to get caught up in an up and down game if you're Portland in this game?
Yeah, with this team in there, I would. But not with Paul in the game.
Another 3 by Thornton. This one off. Songaila grabs that rebound. Posey a wide open 3. Blazers standing a bit flat-footed, this group anyway, and Bayless picks it up for Portland.
You got to take advantage of the misses.
Rudy was 4 for 4 from behind the 3-point line on Wednesday. We'll see if that continues. Traveling by Outlaw.
Boy, the Blazers' second unit really not taking advantage, except Martell on this drive. He was under control, knew what he wanted to do. Other than that.
And you'd gotten on the bench unit, and then Wednesday night they really played well.
They were tremendous.
Here's a steal by Webster. New Orleans tries to get it back and does. It's off of Fernandez, so they'll have it with 9 to shoot. Blazers never had control, so the clock doesn't reset. Good defense by Webster to knock that loose initially. And Rudy couldn't pick it up.
When Paul is out of the game, you have to take advantage. This team earlier in the year, they had 13 threes against Boston. And the Boston game, they're the best defenders of the three-point shot, and they were cooking then. It doesn't look like the same team under Jeff Bauer tonight.
Well, Greg Oden back in there. We've been seeing this rotation change a little bit as Oden has been coming out in the first quarter at his normal 6, but coming back earlier in the second. And so he's back in there now as Thornton goes inside and scores again. He's got 9 points in 3 minutes of action.
Rudy let him cut right in front of him, and he got low post position. Seems like all the action is along the perimeter and not looking inside.
Rudy, a hesitation move. Oden, offensive rebound. No. Thornton, the rebound. He's doing it all. Down goes Fernandez. Hornets have numbers if they hurry. Thornton might as well shoot it again. He does and scores. Thornton has 11 points by himself. The New Orleans starting 5 has 6.
Man, that time Rudy got knocked down by Sean Marks.
Bayless, wild shot, and he's fouled and ends up in the first row.
Well, why not just go in there like that? Simply because they're, you know, Okafor is a good shot blocker. He has 18 on the year. He's not in there. And Tyson Chandler, they gave him away during the summertime. Well, they didn't give Okafor.
I was going to say, that's not saying much for Okafor.
Earlier, they did try to give him away for Joe Smith and Chris Wilcox because they're $3 million over the salary cap, and they were trying to save money. But then they made a trade for Okafor, but none of those guys are in the game. So, man, you can go in. Now, I'll tell you, Oden will be checked by Songaila. And, if he can, you know, they've got to get the ball.
I think West will go on Oden, perhaps.
I hope so, because he can get West into foul trouble.
Bayless misses the free throw. 7 for 11. Portland is at the free throw line. Nothing is working so far. 0 for 3 from behind the three-point line. 6 for 24 from the field. This is the same team that shot 55% on Wednesday against Minnesota and was so good with the 30 assists and efficient on offense. Not so far tonight. Collison, the runner.
Well, Rudy is playing on the side of him, which is fine if you're out by the sideline. But when you're in, foul line, around the foul line. That gives his first step is right to the basket, and your big guys don't have time to react.
Blazers need to get Oden involved offensively. Can't get it to him here. Here's Rudy. Now they go inside. Oden going to turn. Sangaila there and fouls him.
Amen on that. Oh.
And that's the only chance they have. If Oden gets positioned like that and nobody in there to defend him for New Orleans. But, well, I tell you, you didn't count on Marcus Thornton doing what he's doing so far, and that's why the Hornets have a 2-point lead.
This is not good.
Oh, no.
Whoa!
Oh, man.
Oh, no. Come on, not today. Oh, Mom? Uh-oh.
Good low prices on what you need today. Fred Meyer, what's on your list?
Fantastic.
What the hell is this place? I don't know how I got here.
Look.
Where's the road out of here?
There is no out. There is only in.
This Sunday, AMC presents the television event of the year.
I refuse to become a prisoner.
Jim Caviezel and Academy Award nominee Ian McKellen.
I'm a free man.
You only think you're free.
The Prisoner begins this Sunday night at 8, only on AMC.
Coming up on Comcast Sportsnet.
Saturday, November 14th at 4 p.m. against Gerald Wallace and the Charlotte Bobcats. Monday, November 16th at 4 p.m. against Joe Johnson and the Atlanta Hawks. Wednesday, November 18th at 7 p.m. against Ben Gordon and the Detroit Pistons. Catch all this and more on Comcast Sportsnet. Your home for the Portland Trailblazers.
Game on. Well, the Trailblazers, we said early, should be leading big. Well, actually, when you look at their shooting 25%, perhaps they're fortunate to be down only 2. Season ticket holders, RSVP now for the event of your choice as part of Rip City United. View your options online. For the list, it includes Chalk Talk with Terry Porter, a limited edition Brandon Roy Rip City bobblehead, and if you haven't already registered, go to the season ticket holder page on trailblazers.com. And Wells Fargo, official financial partner of the Trailblazers. Together we'll go far. And let's also go to the next game. That will be tomorrow night. The second back-to-back situation on this road trip. Blazers won both, look at you, in the first set. And tomorrow night take on Charlotte down there 4 o'clock. So an hour earlier right here on Comcast Sportsnet and again in high definition.
Well, all you have to do is look at one stat, and it'll tell you the story of this first half so far. Blazers with 2 assists. 2 assists. And in 2 of the last 4 games, they had over 30 assists. 25, 26. I mean, big assist games. Now tonight, they can't pass it.
So what do you think Nate McMillan told him during the timeout? What would you tell your team in that situation?
Look for your big guy.
Because nothing else is going in, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Posey the rebound for the Hornets. But again, Portland down only 2 points.
Let's see how they check Greg in there. If they double team him, it'll open it up maybe for Brandon Roy and Martell.
West, zip pass, Posey wouldn't take the 3. Oh, runs down. Oden, offensive foul. Yes, indeed. Boy, Greg Oden learning from Joel Brisbilla how you take a charge in this league.
Absolutely, yeah. He might have fouled somebody reaching in to try to bat the pass away. That time he just got his body in there. He knew what he wanted to do. His hands were up.
Yeah, normally he'll bring the arms down there and get called for that.
All right, let's see if they get it into Greg now.
They do. No, they don't. They turn it over.
Sean Marks was holding him a little bit, and he couldn't get to the ball. Brandon didn't throw a real good lead pass either.
That's the 3rd turnover on Brandon Roy. You don't say that very often.
Yeah, and Brandon was talking to Greg there, and I think Greg was telling him, wait till I get set. You don't have to lead me.
Here's Thornton again. A little short. Maybe a heat check, and I guess he's deserving of one at this point. Blazers back had numbers initially.
You know, he wasn't a great scorer at LSU. All of a sudden tonight, he's a great scorer in the NBA.
Blazers want to get Oden involved. The As Andre Miller hits on the baseline, and the Hornets almost playing like a triangle in two. They're just shading Oden inside.
Absolutely. They got a man in front and a man behind. Oden hasn't seen this since his Indianapolis high school days.
West over Outlaw, flips it in. Deep position for David West.
Yeah, I don't know how Brandon got on him, and then Travis came over to help out a little late.
I want Oden again as Oden's locked up with Posey. Brandon takes the three and hits. Maybe that'll get Roy going. And a nice pick by Greg Oden, who had Posey all hung up. Posey was trying to look like he was being held, but the officials weren't buying it.
Boy, and I love the way Greg was smiling going up the court and talking to Brandon about that. You know, take that shot. They're all over me. Of course, Chris Paul back in the game.
They're not doubling on Paul. Sungaila trying to pull Oden out of the middle. Misses that shot, and Marcel Webster the rebound.
Well, as long as the guy from LSU doesn't get it, I think we got a shot. There.
Here's Roy against Posey. Brandon Roy starting to feel a little bit. Still having trouble with that dribble. Webster for three. Long. Rebound, Outlaw. Big offensive rebound. And I know for Travis that feels good. That's one more rebound than he had in all of Wednesday's game. Miller to the rim. Left it short.
I think the team that hits two in a row will, man, just think they've gone crazy.
Sungaila off again. West inside. Blazers standing and watching. And a travel. Caught his own miss, says Bill Kennedy.
Yeah.
David West not happy about that. And Kennedy not feeling like that was a shot attempt then, and just feeling like it was a pass to himself. Let's take a look.
Oh, but I don't like this.
Never had control. Is that what you're saying?
Bill Spooner is coming over.
We're going to change it?
And Bill Kennedy, fight for your call. That's it.
He did.
Fight for that call.
That's good communication, though.
Man, we can't. And Bill Spooner, he was just finding out. He wanted to know. He said, this crowd's really upset. Now, you sure you want to call that? And he said, a crowd? What do you mean crowd? There's only 4,000 people here tonight.
Here's Roy up top getting a pick from Oden.
But not come on.
Roy. Travis tries a three. Oden the big rebound. No, they're going to say a loose ball foul.
Oh, come on.
Bill. I wish Bill Spooner would have won the argument, and we wouldn't have had the makeup call.
Bill,
take a look. Wow, I don't know.
I don't know either. See, and that's, you know who that is? That's Sungaila. He's backing away. He's acting like a...
First foul on Oden.
Man.
Of the ball game, and that takes away a Portland bucket as well. Blazers lead it by 1. Yes, that does say second quarter, not first on your screen.
Now, the fans are wondering if the new coach, Jeff Bauer, is playing great defense or it's the worst offensive performance he's ever seen.
Chris Paul trying to get Oden in trouble. Boy, Stojakovic misses again. Chris Paul has it blocked inside. Jump ball. Andre Miller tied up Chris Paul. If he hadn't, Oden would have erased that next attempt. But you can see Chris Paul try to go right back inside and get Oden his second foul. We'll have a jump ball. Chris Paul, Andre Miller. When we come back, Blazers lead it by 1.
Wells Fargo knows that everyone has a vision for their future. Everyone has a someday they'd like to reach. It could be saving up for your kids' college, or buying a home, or it could be retirement. That's why for over 150 years, our mission has been to make the road that leads you to your someday a little easier. Seize your someday. Wells Fargo.
Right now, money is flying out of your wallet, so you switch to Cricket. For just $45 a month, get unlimited talk, text, pics, and mobile web, plus national coverage. Call 1-800-390-8525 and get this Samsung for $49.99, plus your first month of service free. There's no contract to sign, no overages, and it's all on our 3G network. So call, click, or come into Cricket today and put your money back where it belongs. Respect for your wallet. Cricket.
Flame broiled, fresh off the grill, and more meat than that fried double cheeseburger from McDonald's. We call it being better. Double cheeseburger now just $1. Big flame fresh taste always at Burger King. Fact, It's got more beef than a fried McDonald's double cheeseburger. We think it's got more taste, too, but that's more like an opinion. The quarter-pound double cheeseburger, bigger than McDonald's, and now just $1, only at Burger King.
Well, I'd like to say Portland's shooting is getting better, but I'd be lying. 8 for 30, but they lead in the game, so who cares? New Orleans 11 for 38. Blaze the Trail Cat wants to stop by your birthday. That's right, fans. The Blazers and Beaverton Bakery are awarding one lucky fan with a grand prize party pack that includes an appearance by Blaze, a quarter-sheet birthday cake, a personalized authentic jersey, 2 club-level tickets to a Trailblazers game, and a tour of the Rose Garden. Maybe even appearance by Mike Rice could be worked out. Enter today at trailblazers.com or at any Beaverton Bakery location. Check out the Blazer fans. Even Blaze gets depicted.
Yes.
They're up in the end zone. They were here very early this evening and making a lot of noise, which we like.
And I'm sure this afternoon there was a hurricane or two in there.
Oh, yeah, that kind of hurricane.
Yeah, the drink.
5:53, man, might have been. And Andre Miller and Chris Paul will jump it up at New Orleans' end.
I like Chris Paul here tipping it to Peja. No, now tipping it to Brown.
We'll see. Now, Andre Miller's kind of crafty. We'll see how he handles this. Andre wins it. Roy isolates and grabs the ball.
Roy was smart enough. He will cut over and bump Brown out of the way.
And you said Andre couldn't jump. Did he really? Roy down the middle takes the hit from Okafor and flips it in. Okafor fortunate enough to pick up his 3rd.
Boy, this has not been the Chris Paul that has played all year. He's 0 for 5 right now. And the guy that's 3rd in
only 1 assist as well.
Yeah, 1 assist. 3rd in assists. Last year he led the NBA in assists.
Okafor going to challenge Roy. Banks it up. Oden. And Oden played good defense there and helped contribute to the miss.
Didn't he? He just kept his hands straight up and he kind of blocked the view.
Miller, backdoor goes Roy through his hands. He had missed him the first time, and Brandon saying to Andre now, I was open initially, and then I think Miller was surprised that Brandon was still open when he pump faked and went down a second time, but they turned it over. 6 Portland turnovers here in this first half. Here's Devin Brown for 3, but New Orleans not taking advantage of the Portland turnovers. They only have 1 bucket on the Portland turnovers.
The shot selection is just terrible.
Travis steps into a 3, well short. Chris Paul grabs the rebound.
This is when you look down your bench and say, now, who would do better?
Stojakovic then just throws it out of bounds. That helps. We go, they're going to say off of Portland. The Blazers don't argue, so I assume they're guilty. Blazers by 3. Jared Bayless was the spark plug who really got Portland back into it in the first quarter. Well, and Thornton is on the bench. That's good news for Portland, the rookie for the Hornets. David West, baseline, hits again. So West is the only guy that shot well in this whole game. He's 4 for 5.
Yeah, and that time they isolated.
And Thornton, of course, 5 to 7.
Chris Paul, he took 1 dribble, and then they isolated for David West on that one-on-one move. They used it earlier, and he scored earlier. Have not gone back to it since.
Outlaw baseline, finger rolls it in. That's a much higher percentage look than a fadeaway 3 early in the clock.
I'll tell you, it's a lot better than the jump shots he's been throwing up tonight.
Chris Paul has got Miller isolated. Oden in the area. They want Okafor. They'd love to get some fouls on Greg Oden. They steal. Outlaw controls. Portland a chance to push. 3-on-1. Miller, a little look off in the lane with the left hand.
Now they have to get down. Coach Bauer doesn't believe in timeouts.
Evidently not.
But the way it's going, if both coaches could have called 20 all night tonight.
Stojakovic.
See, and that's what the Blazers are afraid of, that they'll post up Brandon Roy. Peja's not a big post-up guy, but when you have 5-inch advantage, maybe you do it once in a while.
That was Peja's first bucket, 1 for 5. Brandon Roy, elbow jumper long. Rebound West.
Brandon's having a little trouble dribbling tonight. He just can't control the basketball.
Chris Paul, boy, Andre Miller's doing a nice job against Chris Paul. Nice job by Steve Blake to knock that off of Devin Brown, out of bounds, Portland ball. Watch the quick hands of Blake as Brown turned the corner with some momentum. Take a look here. There, Blake slaps it right off of Brown, and he throws it out of bounds. That'll be the 6th turnover for the Hornets. So Jeff Bauer, it's not the offensive showdown perhaps he envisioned this afternoon. Blazers by 3.
Pacific Office Automation, the West's #1 office technology dealer. Over 30 years of award-winning sales, service, and customer support, featuring the most respected names in state-of-the-art office technology. Whether your company is small or large, Pacific Office Automation is the name to trust for all your document imaging needs. Locally owned, nationally recognized, the one name to remember, Pacific Office Automation.
Gatorade. That's G.
Bob Akemi and Michael Holton in the home court studios. We're with you at halftime with the rest of the NBA story. This game slowly developing into something the Trailblazers needed defense to start offense.
It wasn't pretty to start, Bob, but this is how you wake up. Brandon Roy advances the ball on the break without even bouncing it. And Andre Miller looks off, left hand, window, Windex, bucket. That's how you get yourself going on the road, Trailblazers.
And Andre Miller rewarded for the good defensive play, gets to finish it. Let's get you back courtside in New Orleans to Mike and Mike.
All right, thanks, fellas. More coming up at halftime from Bob and Michael back in our Portland studios. After this ball game tonight, we go east again, all the way east just about, to Charlotte. And then tomorrow night take on the Bobcats. Then we go southwest a touch, actually basically just south to Atlanta for Monday's game that'll wrap up this road trip.
Let's tell, since we're on League Pass tonight, let's tell everybody, so we don't lose listeners, that this is the first quarter. And it's a high score.
I've tried to tell them that. They're not listening.
Oh, okay. That's big. 30-27.
We'll see what Portland plans out of the timeout. How about Outlaw hard to the rim? He gives it up. Blake. Shot clock at 8. Steve takes a push jumper from over. They're all Oden with the rebound. Flips it up. No. Lost control of it. Rebound tipped out to Paul. Blazers miss a golden opportunity inside again. Nobody gets back to cover Okafor, and Portland now getting guilty of standing around a little bit.
That's a 4-point turnaround for the Blazers. They miss a layup on one end and give up a layup on the other. You don't want to do that simply because they're not making any baskets, and if you give them a layup, you know, they'll make that. Travis 1 for 5 in this game. He made a layup on the drive.
Andre Miller. Rebound Stojakovic. David West fighting off Roy down the floor, and a couple of easy buckets for New Orleans. Fast breaking, and that's something that'll get your offense going.
Now, it shouldn't have been Brandon Roy on him. Brandon was just covering for somebody else. Blazers have to get back.
Roy covered by Brown. Now Blake goes inside to Oden against Okafor. Greg stepped through with the left hand. No. Rebound claimed by Chris Paul. Paul goes right past Outlaw, gets fouled by Oden, and now will shoot 2 free throws.
Boy, he threw his body right into him. You know, he was trying to get fouled, and he just kind of... But when you're an all-star and a gold medal winner, watch how he throws his body right here into the man. Now, if Oden wouldn't have been so strong, he could have just fallen down, taken a Vlade Divac on him, and maybe picked up a foul.
Second foul on Oden. Joel Prisbilla will check back in. And with that, Jeff Bauer says, let's get Okafor out of there as well. Sean Marks will check in for the Hornets. So Greg Oden 0 for 5 so far tonight. He has had 5 rebounds, but he's not the only one who's not scratched yet for Portland or for the Hornets.
Now, I'll tell you something. I don't know what both coaches are going to say. Jeff Bauer, of course, this is his first halftime. But he has a lot of things he could throw at the team. Sandwiches, do the
already?
Yeah, do the
lob to Prisbilla, and that has a hard time going down, but it does. Tied at 32. With just over 1 minute left first half. Chris Paul, that's an offensive foul on Sean Marks. We go the other way. Marks was trying to get Paul open. A nice sell job by Andre Miller to call attention to the hold by Marks.
I really wish that would have gone in, just
to see a ball go in.
To see, because I have a feeling there's cellophane, there's something up there that's...
Portland shooting 30%, New Orleans at 34.
Well, they hit that 30 percentile.
You get to the locker room tied or down just a couple if you're Portland, or even up, you got to feel good. Brandon Roy has it blocked by Marks. Miller gets it back from 10 feet on the baseline. Short. Outlaw tries to throw it at the rim. Roy then picks it up. He's fouled. Score the bucket as well. Ooh, what a shot by Brandon Roy. Just kind of throwing that at the rim after he knew he was going to get fouled. And now, just to give Portland a 3-point lead with 43.6 left.
Watch Travis come. That's the foul. But earlier, Travis was just flying through the air, tried to tip dunk it, and that's what kept the ball alive. Travis doesn't go for many offensive rebounds, so that's big right there as the Blazers take a 3-point lead.
I don't know how.
Yeah, it's look.
Blazers have 29 rebounds already in this game. Just Paul pick and roll with Sean Marks, and Outlaw fouls. And free throws coming for Marks. And that's going to be the first foul on Outlaw. And Travis Outlaw holding quite the conversation with Bill Kennedy down low. Travis doesn't complain a lot. That time didn't feel like he fouled at Sean Marks.
What do they have? One foul shot made?
Yeah.
One foul shot made.
They're now 1 for 3 on the night. Boy, Portland, you'll use their 20 here to get a final look. You got to guard these possessions because with as hard as baskets are to come by, maybe take a full timeout here and take a look at things. But you know, we talked about before the ball game how New Orleans would react, and the one thing that seemed like everybody agreed on, that was they would bring energy and they would bring life for their coach. And it's not that they haven't done that, but it just seems like the teams are playing in quicksand tonight.
Well, I know some of the fans, when they leave the arena at halftime to go out and get their friendly brew, they're going to say, is this Jeff Bauer's offense that we're looking at here tonight? So I know he'll try to come back in the second half. I don't know with what, but
it's been an adjustment time. You can see a little bit for Chris Paul. He does have 4 assists now, but he's 0 for 5. Stojakovic 1 for 5. Devin Brown 0 for 5. So some of the guys they count on for offense, Posey's 0 for 3. But Portland can't talk much because Outlaw's 1 for 6. Blake's 0 for 4. Oden's 0 for 5. So I guess they cancel each other out, and you don't feel that badly in the locker room and just reset the thing at halftime.
And, you know, the Blazers really haven't hit. The Hornets have been out-rebounding 7 of the 9 games so far this year. Today, they're out-rebounding the Blazers by 1. So, you know, they've done a nice job on the boards, the Hornets, and the Blazers have missed a lot of shots and haven't taken advantage. They only have 5 offensive rebounds.
There will be about 5 seconds left for the Hornets if Portland uses all this clock. Shot clock is at 10 now. Roy up top. This is the old familiar play. Outlaw bring the pick.
Boy, they're going to leave
Outlaw for 3 over Chris Paul, and that's a round and out. Rebound tipped around. Loose, picked up by Roy. Takes a long 3. Short. Outlaw tips it up and in with 3/10 left. That's West inbound. They throw it away. That didn't hit anything. Portland will get to inbound under the basket with 3/10 left. If they hadn't already used their 20, they'd probably take it here.
Oh, absolutely, because you're gonna have to have a back pick. Just throw it up there and tip it.
Boy, Travis Outlaw, you mentioned go for some offensive rebounds. He has in the last couple of possessions. That's what he can do.
And I'd have Travis set a pick and then go to the basket.
They lob to Roy. He tips it. Oh, boy, that was That ball hadn't even touched Roy's hand and the clock went off. And Andre Miller is complaining, and Portland should. But it wouldn't have mattered anyway. Here's the last hit by Outlaw. And he just kind of guides it softly. If you're Travis, you can elevate, then decide what you're going to do when you get there. And that's what he did. So the Trailblazers happily take a 4-point lead to the locker room here at halftime. They're shooting 30%. New Orleans 34%. Bob Akemi and Michael Holt, maybe they'll make some sense of all this from our Portland studios when we come back.
Okay, who had the opposite sex repellent here? Me. And the I'm not fat, I'm husky special. What do you...
Yes, the opponent low 4.5 for Portland. Welcome back courtside. Mike Barrett back with Mike Rice. I guess if you're Portland, though, you go to the locker room and say, we got a lead. Let's hit the reset button and start things over again.
You know, you're not really sure how to analyze this game because Chris Paul...
And that's saying something from you.
Yeah, that's right. He's number 3 in the NBA with 84 field goals, only behind Carmelo and Kobe in field goals. Tonight, he's 0 for 5. Devin Brown is 0 for 5. So their backcourt's 0 for 10.
Let's look at the numbers now.
Yeah. 14 for 46. The Blazer backcourt's 3 for 13, so they shouldn't say anything about the Hornets backcourt. 3-point shooting. The Blazers only shot 29% against this club last year from threes. They're not doing any better tonight. 11%. Free throw shooting.
And that hasn't even been good.
Oh, I know it. 50% and 67. And the Blazers lead the NBA in that category. Rebounds. Blazers got a little better with Travis Outlaw hitting a couple offensive rebounds late. Turnovers, not too bad. With this score, you'd think there'd be more, but look at the assists.
Blazers had 30 assists in the game on Wednesday.
And this is a place where they give out a lot of assists because of Chris Paul.
What are you saying?
I'm saying...
Isn't an assist an assist?
No, not...
Okay.
And this is our Sylvania performer chart.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah. Roy, 10. Miller, 7. Bayless, 7. Bayless hasn't played a lot of minutes at all, only 5 minutes, and he's one of the leading scorers.
Well, and we didn't think we'd be seeing a Marcus Thornton versus Jared Bayless McDonald's matchup, but maybe that's what it should have been. Let's revisit your forward keys to the game, see if you had any of these close to being correct.
Well, that one, we sure had.
They sure stopped that.
That's right. They've stopped Chris Paul tonight.
So far.
Points in the paint, 22-14. The reason the Blazers have the 4-point lead, they've been able, because of, well, there's just no big guys left for this team to stop Oden. Free throw points, Portland 8, New Orleans 2. So the keys are working, but you would think they would work in a little better manner.
Well, the Blazers, if you take and you just count the shots that have been taken outside the key, Portland is 3 for 28 on those tries.
Oh.
They're 11 for 18 inside the key. So maybe it's all about getting higher percentage shots in a game like this.
Well,
and then run for the airport.
If you've got that stat sheet and you look at that like you did, I think Nate also looks at that and says, oh, you know, somebody's got to quit shooting outside. By the way, when we showed their bench with their new coach, Jeff Bauer, we also saw Robert Pack, a former Blazer, who's one of their assistant coaches.
Yeah.
And they kept all their assistants, and they Tim Floyd was added. He is now the lead assistant.
And we'll see what Portland has in store. LaMarcus Aldridge sat the bench the entire second quarter. And he got off to a decent start. He picked up 2 fouls and had to come out. They go right to him, and he scores.
Well, there's your stat right there
in the paint.
And so Nate is looking at that and saying, we've got to get the one of Rice's keys points in the paint.
You think they discussed your keys in the locker room?
I got a feeling they said if he knew that.
All right. Okafor turns baseline, threw it up. Oden played great defense, and he has really stopped Emeka Okafor tonight. Now, granted, Okafor's played good defense right back, but I think Portland will take a draw there.
Absolutely. That was great defense.
Aldridge again from 12. That's outside the key, so, you know, keeping the pattern, it misses. Stojakovic. Oh, my goodness. Things aren't improving for Peja Stojakovic.
And, you know, he's one of the great three-point shooters in his career in the NBA.
And that was a quick catch and release like we've seen him hit so many times.
Well, Well, you know what that's from? Those coaches that say, get aggressive. You got to get aggressive. Well, he got aggressive.
Andre Miller goes past West, finds an open Blake for three. Good with one on the shot clock. Good assist, Andre Miller. And Blazers all of a sudden a 9-point lead, which feels like 20.
Andre Miller playing very well with Steve Blake.
Look at the defense by Miller on Chris Paul. He was going to shoot that foul line jumper. Here's West. He's long with that. Oden the rebound. See if Portland can finally get while the getting seems to be pretty good. They go right back to Aldridge. Aldridge fades, long, rebound, hits the board. Oden nearly tips it in. Miller then steals and scores. And Jeff Bauer may be going to have to use a timeout if his assistants can let him know this is a pretty good spot to take a timeout.
Now, has he called one? No, this is...
He has now. Chris Paul is frustrated as he heads to that bench doing some barking at the assistant coaches and mad at his teammates, I got a feeling. But Portland blazes out of the locker room. Only 2 minutes into the second half, and they've got an 11-point lead.
What? The Dairy Queen
from Portland's basket, and they've broken off with a little run here. But let's first take a look at the Kia player card tonight and bring in Martell Webster, who had a nice game on Wednesday against Minnesota, a Seattle guy, and of course they watch us up in Seattle.
Sure.
Jason Terry is his cousin.
Do you remember what he might have been if he wasn't a basketball player?
That was pilot.
There you go. You remember.
All right. Well, the Blazers 3 buckets to start this half, and pushing the tempo a little bit, and LaMarcus Aldridge going back to him, and then a second chance bucket by Andre Miller. But the Steve Blake 3 was big as the shot clock was winding down.
Yeah, and John LaCroft really hasn't had a chance to put a package together tonight for either team. And look at Andre Miller. He hangs around that basket. If you bring the ball down low, he'll get it.
And just as we come back to live action, Chris Paul misses a jumper, so he is 0 for 6 in the game. Miller, pump fake on West, scores off the glass.
Once again, Blazers doing a nice job of points in the paint. Now it's 28-14. It's the only reason the Blazers are ahead in this ball game, points in the paint. They were the first to decide no one's going to make an outside shot tonight. Let's get it inside.
9-0 run to start the half for Portland. Here's David West. They go back to...
And they should have done this long ago.
And he hits. So that's the first field goal for the Hornets of the half. 1 for 5 now. Blazers 4 of 7 shooting. And their average climbing to 34%.
Yeah, David West 6 for 8, and they don't go to him.
Roy a long 2. It's off. Oden tried to keep it alive and did against Okafor, but Stojakovic stepped in and grabbed it for the Hornets. Here comes Chris Paul, who wants to get started in a big way, and of course can't. Devin Brown wants to get started and does for 3.
See, now they're pushing it up a little bit more. Paul handling it. And if it's half-court set, it should be David West on that isolation play from foul line extended. Blazers have to respond now.
Blake gets picks from either side. Aldridge then pops to the top of the key and drills the long jumper. So Aldridge with 8 points now, 4 of 8 shooting overall. And if you're the Blazers, you get a hot hand in this game and right it.
And if that continues, you make that shot, then Oden will be open in the middle.
West missed this one. Rebound, Oden inside.
See, everyone just runs back. They don't even challenge Oden to get a rebound. He started to become that dominant center on the defensive end.
You don't want to catch one of those big elbows across your forehead.
Oh, no.
He's got 9 rebounds and no points so far in the game. Here's Aldridge again. Back to Roy. Brandon certainly knows who's hot. He gives it back to L.A. and he hits at the shot clock buzzer for a long 2.
Now, if he can pull them out, that'll open it up for, and it did already. Andre Miller snuck in there for an easy basket a minute ago.
Devin Brown spins by Oden and lays it in. Nice move by Brown. That middle 2 opened that time for Portland. They wanted to give Brown the baseline. Now here's Aldridge. It's the LaMarcus Aldridge show right now for Portland. That's a difficult shot, and he hits again.
Oh, that fadeaway, that's coming alive. Remember, the last ball game, you only had 5 shots.
8 in the corner for Aldridge. Chris Paul, baseline, nearly threw it away. Somehow they control West. He wants the side cleared, and Okafor reluctantly heads to the weak side. Tough shot by West, around and out. Rebound Aldridge. Chance for Portland to run 4-on-3. Oden the trailer. Steve Blake. Portland doesn't pull the trigger on the 3. Brandon Roy baseline. LaMarcus, how about another 2? There it is. Boy, Brandon in the corner for Aldridge.
Brandon Roy, he can snip that out. They're not going to call a timeout, are they, Coach Bauer?
They're thinking about it. He already called one. They can't afford to take another here. But Portland's got to keep pouring it on right now. Chris Paul, they are going to take another timeout. And is it going to be a 20 or a full? It's going to be a 20. They don't want to burn another full this early.
No. And I'll tell you, Chris Paul is mad at his teammates.
Yes, he is.
He is really. And he's looking in the stands. Could he be looking for Byron Scott?
He's talking right now to the team. The coaches aren't doing the talking in that huddle. That is all Chris Paul. As Chris Paul is 0 for 6 in this game. He does have 5 assists now. But he's just frustrated with the lack of effort on the backboards especially.
He'd like to be where in the world? He'd like
Rome.
to be
Look
in
at
Rome.
James Stevenson. If you get a shot of yourself in your Blazers gear, send us the email to the For Fans page on trailblazers.com. You know who that is, don't you? Caesar Augustus.
Caesar Augustus.
Yes, that's in Rome, Italy. James Stevenson with his Blazer gear on in Rome.
I hope I have a better ending than Caesar.
Caesar Augustus?
Yeah, because I won't betray anybody and have...
Well, we hope not.
Ooh, 2.
14-point Portland lead. 8-2. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah.
Devin Brown traveled inside, but got fouled in the process. And Andre Miller's trying to take it. We'll see. Yes, he's going to get it. Usually when Andre does that, he's lying.
Oh, and he really thought the big guy was going to pick up the foul. He puts his hand up immediately. He knows the value of keeping your big guys in the game. They control the paint, and that's going to win the ball game for one of these two teams.
Blazers leading in the points in the paint category, 28-16.
Yeah, and that's been the difference right now. Okafor hasn't really been a factor in the game because they have not gone to him.
Well, Oden hasn't scored either in the game, but he does have 9 rebounds. Okafor has 4 points and 3 rebounds.
Well, they're going to run. They're going to have LaMarcus be a decoy. No, he's going to get it.
Don't fix it if it ain't broke. And right now, Aldridge has got it stuck on automatic. That one was tipped. Oden picks it up and scores his first bucket with the left hand.
And once again, points in the paint. Blazers, they went in at halftime and decided, forget this outside shooting. It's not working for either team.
And Portland suddenly out rebounding the Hornets by 10.
Yes, that's big.
Okafor against Oden, and there's something Greg used to do, and that's come down with the arms before the player elevates for the shot. And Greg's got to realize he can block that shot by going straight up.
And Okafor really doesn't have great touch. Look at Greg sneaking in.
Right around Okafor, and that's what David West barked at Okafor. He said, box out.
You know, and that is because every time there's a shot taken, the big guy, Greg Oden, hits the offensive board. It's the guys that sometimes they hit the board, sometimes they go back on defense. They're the ones that you don't box out all the time. But there's no reason not to box out Greg Oden. He goes after the offensive rebound every time.
So he sits down Joel Presbilla in. Oden has his third. They don't want to have him pick up a fourth this early in the second half.
And of course, you don't lose much with the big guy in there because Joel Presbilla, #1 in the NBA off the bench with offensive rebounds. So,
and of course he can block a shot or two. He had those 3 blocks in a row at Minnesota on Wednesday when Portland took control and put that game over. They go back to Aldridge, trying to anyway. He's got West pinned up. Shot clock at 6. Miller to Presbilla. Finally has it, gets himself gathered, and is fouled from behind by Okafor. Free throws coming, and Presbilla trying to put a fork in that one. It kept slipping out of his hands, but a great pass by Andre Miller.
See, if you have a feel for the game like Andre Miller, you know where they fouled him earlier, they fouled him again.
And that's 3 on Okafor, so he's going to follow Oden likely and go right to the bench, although no move by the New Orleans staff. Sorry. It's got to be one. And no move yet. But we play Charlotte tomorrow night. Don't I get a pass? It's on my mind somewhere.
Well, it definitely wasn't in the paper. You had to go to page 3. The Saints were page 1 and 2, and then the Hornets had a page 3 stuff and until the firing, and that was on page 1.
Blazers now their largest lead of 15. David West takes care of that quickly.
Boy, yeah, and Miller was helping out, and he left Okafor, or I should say David West. You don't do that.
Roy and Chris Villa.
Boy, we haven't seen Roy go one-on-one against anybody all day.
Blake. Shot clock at 5, now at 4. Andre's got to go up. He was fouled. There's the bailout, and you talk about a crafty veteran teaching a rookie how it's done in the NBA. That's it right there.
He didn't go to the hoop because he knew he couldn't get the shot off in time, so all he did was set him up to get fouled. He wasn't even trying to score.
And that's how it's done, and Bill Kennedy says indeed, and that was really... And they're going to check and make sure now. This is something new that officials can do in the NBA. First time we've really seen it this year is check and see if it beat if it beat the 24-second clock, as Bill Spooner said. Let me look at it first, then you can yell at me to Andre Miller.
Yeah, Andre Miller said, what are you looking at?
But now they can check these kind of things. The end of the shot clock, there's been a yellow light bar installed on the backboards along with the red. And the yellow indicates when the shot clock expires, and that's what they're going to look for here.
And to tell you the truth, it's a big screen, so all the players are now standing around looking at it. And, yeah, there was one left.
Yeah, it's when the foul was, not when the ball released Andre's hands, obviously.
Right, and Brandon Roy's telling him that because the ball didn't leave his hand in time, but he got fouled.
Brandon's talking to us. I got a better screen for Brandon to watch this.
And look at Chris Paul is up there now, going through.
And now Chris Paul is arguing his side. And now look at Brandon Roy on the other side. He's arguing his case.
And I'll tell you.
And there's Tim Floyd on
two of the most competitive people in the NBA, Chris Paul and Brandon Roy. So they're debating it right now. And you don't look, you look where the foul was, not where the ball was shot. And that's what they were looking right there. He's fouled. And of course the fans are getting all involved behind the thing here. And everybody's involved with this. And of course Jeff Bauer comes over as the new coach.
And Rudy Fernandez waiting to go in the ball game. And meanwhile, free throws coming for Miller.
You know, they took the other night in that Denver game when
we should at least offer Rudy some snacks or something here by the table. Would you like some snacks or some water or something?
In that Denver game, they took a long time. That was that close, and Denver ended up winning on a call just like that. Oh.
There's Rudy. Thought it was where he's been for a while, so he turned down your trail mix or whatever you had. Out of Doritos. And a second free throw coming for Miller. As we're down, it's been an odd game, hasn't it?
Well, now it's, you know, the Blazers play tomorrow night in Charlotte, so I think we lose an hour also, don't we?
Yes, we do.
Eastern time, so, you know, we got to do the business
it's not
here
a long
first.
Flight, though.
No.
That's the good news.
Yeah. Chris Paul in the game now with the other Collison, so they're playing the 2 point guards together, something they didn't do under Byron Scott.
Here's Chris Paul, still 0 for 6 from the field. Takes it inside. Prisbilla blocks it. Down he goes. He's all right. It ends up in the hands of West. It's off, and Aldridge grabs the rebound. Boy, talk about the D of Prisbilla, who came over to make sure Paul stays field goalless.
And that's, you know, we're going to have to look that up because this guy is averaging 26 a game. No one has closed him out like this.
Aldridge working against Sean Marks now.
He'll foul him. Marks will foul him.
Blake, a long three, looks off, and that clock was winding down. Blake had to let it go, and Collison, boy, the Portland bench unit going to be vital here, and I think Aldridge will stay for a while as Portland trying to build their lead. Chris Paul, I mean, the thing that ball's knocked away and he's fouled. But the thing you forget about when you look at Chris Paul having a game where he's 0 for 7, he came into this game shooting 62% from the field on the season and 66% from behind the three-point line.
Yep.
So this is, I mean, and granted the season's young, only 9 games in for the Hornets, but talk about a major aberration.
Well, he has been playing so well. He didn't love the Princeton offense, but David West apparently didn't love it even more. They wanted to get out of that.
Collison, not a wise shot in traffic, picked up by Aldridge. At the same time, you have to give some credit to Portland's defense. The Blazers have held their opponents to 85 points a game in their last 6, and they're headed for that number, if not bettering that number tonight.
Well, with their length, they're just not letting anything happen.
Nice pass. Aldridge to Prisbilla, and Marks fouls, so Prisbilla will shoot free throws. Third foul on Marks, so they're getting smaller all the time with Marks and Okafor each with 3 now.
Yeah, we want Marks in the game, though.
Okay, so are you going to argue that call?
Yeah, don't foul him out. Because Okafor, I'm sure, is rested. There's Coach Bauer up. He had never been a head coach. He's been an assistant. In fact, he was Tim Floyd's assistant here in 2003.
Right.
And of course, Tim Floyd, Iowa State. He's
USC,
of course. Chicago Bulls. He had his worst record with the Chicago Bulls as a head coach.
Lob to Marks. Not sure that's.
Why would you lob him?
Not sure. Here comes Blake out of the backcourt.
He thought Tyson Chandler was back.
Aldridge back to Blake. Boy, normally he lets that 3 go. So far tonight, Blake just 1 for 6. Thought they could do something better here. Marcus out to Blake. Hesitates again. Shot clock at 8. Blake drives and scores. We were going to call an offensive foul on Blake. A little hook. Blake disagreeing with that, as he thought he was going to have an and-one situation. That's just the 7th turnover of the game on Portland. 61-45. Blazers on top here late in the 3rd.
Now the Clear has covered Portland with super fast mobile internet. It's easy to stream TV on a train, video chat at a job site,
So did the shipment arrive today? Should be here by noon.
or upload videos to YouTube from the pool. Try doing that with internet from a cell phone company. But it's easy with Clear, because Clear has built a brand new WiMAX network, so you can get online at home and on the go for only $55 a month. It's all the internet you'll ever need.
Brakes. The most important system in your car. If you're experiencing symptoms of worn brakes, noise or grinding, pulsation, brake grab, or if your brake pedal needs excessive pressure, come into Les Schwab for a free brake inspection. If your brakes need service, we do it right, we do it complete. Repairing, resurfacing, replacing, and adjusting. All backed by our full parts and labor guarantee. Les Schwab Brake Service. If we can't guarantee it, we won't sell it.
A new season. A new passion. A new journey. It all starts here. Oregon versus Colorado State. Sunday at 3:30 p.m. on Comcast Sportsnet. Your home for the Oregon Ducks. Game on.
Blazers shooting now 38% for the game and leading at 61-45 with just 2:36 left in the 3rd. LaMarcus Aldridge 7 of 12, 14 points, 8 rebounds, and Portland trying to ride him through this 3rd quarter.
Well, they're riding him because both teams are 4 for 21 from the 3-point line. So the Blazers have decided, and I think New Orleans has decided also to go inside, but the Blazers defense inside is better than New Orleans. So LaMarcus Aldridge is the guy that the Blazers are riding in this 3rd quarter.
There you see it, and Aldridge will stay on the floor. And, you know, you talk about the benefit, and there are many of them, of depth. And Portland is so deep, and one of them is if you got some guys, including your all-star, who are just flat off on a certain night, somebody's going to get hot at some point, and you can ride them. The other one is, that's great defense by Aldridge.
Yeah.
The other one is, if you're in the second of a back-to-back, you can play Aldridge, play the heck out of him tonight, then maybe give him a break tomorrow night at Charlotte, at least a little bit, if you have to.
Yeah. And, of course, they went out of the timeout to David West on that isolation play, and LaMarcus Aldridge,
And there was a set play out of the timeout, and not a good pass. Portland back-to-back turnovers.
They'd love to get Brandon Roy involved.
And a three in the corner by Marcus Thornton, who now has 14 points in 10 minutes. If I'm the Hornet coaching staff, I'm not sure I go to anybody else. Maybe David West, that's it.
And this Marcus Thornton, he hasn't played at all. He went to junior college a couple years, then LSU a couple years, and that's the last time he's played. And now, bang.
Aldridge hit on the arm by West. The ball sticks. So it'll be a jump ball, and that's the best result Portland could have hoped for out of that, because it was all Hornet players inside to grab that rebound.
If that ball doesn't stick there, it'll probably hurt somebody in the front row.
Portland not aware that it's a jump ball. He was trying to get the foul call.
Yeah. Trying to come up and under. Now
So James Posey, and that's a guy that, as Portland knows, he can get hot in a hurry, especially from long range if you're looking at a big-time comeback. And, of course, New Orleans is a talented offensive team, so at any time you feel they could turn it on offensively, so get your lead while they're ice cold. That's what Portland's trying to do. Chris Paul, will he hit his first? Yes, he does.
Yeah, now they're going to high pick and roll, and Paul doesn't have anybody to go down and alley-oop, but the Blazers are staying in the shooters in the corner, especially the guy from LSU, Thornton. And now Paul's going to have to start shooting.
Roy inside, bump, throws it up, no, rebound, tipped by Prisbilla, saved by Posey, picked up by Prisbilla, and a foul going to be called on Paul inside. As the Cardinal sin, which you used to teach your teams, don't save the ball under the opponent's basket. And that's going to be the second foul on Chris Paul right there. Posey, you'd never do that.
But with this lineup, New Orleans has a little spurt going, so the Blazers have to do something about it. They're trying to post up Brandon Roy as Marks whacked him.
And it's a foul on Marks, and they've tried that a couple of times to Roy, and not good entry passes. Blazers turned it over twice trying to do that, and this time they get the call, and Marks has 4 fouls. So
now you can do that, Dwayne Wade and LeBron James, post them up there and their strength, but Brandon Roy doesn't have that strength just to hold off a bigger guy and get the ball. So they have to do a better job with the entry pass.
So now Hilton Armstrong, who used to be a big part of the rotation down here, is asked to go in because Marks is in foul trouble with 4. Okafor has 3. They'll come back with him soon, but probably not until the start of the 4th.
Well, that tells you what they think of Hilton Armstrong. He couldn't get in the game.
Aldridge called for the loose ball foul. That's going to be his 3rd foul. Holding off with the off-arm Posey. But Portland at the free throw line tonight, 70%. This is a team shooting 85%. Just 14 of 20. And Posey's got a hold of Aldridge's shorts there with the left hand.
See him hold him? And now he's going up. Oh, there's no way that's a foul.
So Travis Outlaw in for Portland. He had the fine close to the first half, and this bench unit, the second team for Portland, is going to have to finish off this quarter for Portland and give solid minutes in the 4th. Chris Paul again drops it to Armstrong, and he jams, and Chris Paul is down. Boy, this is, remember last year when Chris Paul got injured against Portland. They can't take a timeout. They have to take a foul. That's going to be free throws for Bayless.
Boy, and he came down on somebody's ankle.
It was February 3rd of last year when New Orleans was leading Portland by 17 in the second half. That's when Chris Paul went down, and oddly enough, wasn't it right before the end of the 3rd quarter?
Absolutely.
Almost the exact same time in the game.
Right.
And that, I think, was a hamstring or groin last year.
He goes up. He finds
come down
man.
on the foot.
Oh,
yes,
right there. He came down on Joel's foot.
But it was almost, I mean, we got to look back at that last year on February 3rd, because I think it was almost the exact same situation. The only difference was New Orleans was leading by, I think, 17 at the time, and Portland came back to win.
anxious to hear about your new movie.
It's very exciting, yes. But first, I need to get to Grover's.
Grover Electric and Plumbing, the electric and plumbing store do-it-yourselfers and contractors love to shop. And everyday low prices that make you glad you stopped by.
Okay, I'm back. Now, would you like to hear about my movie?
Not really. What'd you get at Grover's?
Grover Electric and Plumbing. It's where you go for what you need.
What? The Dairy Queen double cheeseburger meal is just $3.99? This could be the greatest deal of all time.
I give you fire. You give me rock. Good deal.
Oh. Yep, the double cheeseburger deal's still the greatest. And less painful. The third pound double cheeseburger combo with fries and a drink, all for just $3.99. It's quite a deal.
Chris Paul not even putting any weight on the ankle. And now he says, let me down. I'm going to try to. Or at least be helped off and not carried off.
They haven't started the timeout yet. They won't start a timeout. Now watch him come down on the ankle. Boy, this happens so often.
Right on the back of Presbilla's heel.
Yeah.
And it was a quick turn. It wasn't a full roll.
Oh,
but those kind are bad.
Yeah.
It looks like that's where you get the high ankle sprain.
Absolutely. High ankle sprain. And, you know, you feel for Jeff Bauer. He made the move to fire Byron Scott. Brings in his own head assistant, Tim Floyd. Now twists the ankle of his all-star point guard. And they just found out how to make something work. They were getting the high pick and roll, rolling to the basket, and they let, of course, Chris Paul. He's so good at keeping the defender behind him, and they scored on 2 straight possessions on that play. Now that's gone. They cut that lead to 10 points. The Blazers did have a 16-point lead.
.37% Portland shooting now. And out rebounding New Orleans, 45-33. Blazers out rebounding opponents now by about 6 rebounds a game. And Peja Stojakovic going to check in. He's 1 for 6 on the night. And again, as we mentioned, Chris Paul was not having a good night, 1 for 8 and 3 points. But as you said, they were starting to find something as Bayless misses the free throw.
You know, and it'll be a little different because it was Chris Paul getting the ball to where they wanted. They weren't hitting shots, but that doesn't mean they can hit shots. Now they'll have to find a new way.
By the way, Jim Taylor has looked it up, and it was at the 1:30 mark of the third quarter last year when Chris Paul went down injured against Portland. Presbilla blocks that shot by Collison. So how odd is that?
That is amazing.
With 40 seconds left, it happens this year. And again, the only difference is that took a huge comeback effort by Portland to win that one.
Was that a bad shot by Collison? He just threw it up in front of Joel.
Roy foul on top of the key jumper over Stojakovic is good. And Brandon with 13 now on 4 of 12 shooting. And I don't blame you. People are telling us not to come back to town because they keep causing injuries. That was courtesy of Bill Evans, not Jim Taylor. I got to make sure I get the credit straight. Collison inside at the rim scores as the clock expires. So not good Blazer defense there to allow the rookie to dance right down the right side and lay it in.
Not good.
But Portland will take the lead to the 4th. It's only 11. And New Orleans, if they weren't inspired by losing Byron Scott, maybe they will be now at the loss of Chris Paul. Shot of Executive Director Chris McMurtry as we roll back to New Orleans with the sound of New Orleans. 65-54. Trailblazers on top as we head to the 4th. Blazers shooting up to 38% for the game. Hornets at What are you laughing at? Hornets at 36%.
It sounds like we've really made a big push in our field goal percentage, up to 38.
Yeah, I know. Well, you know, when you look back at the way this game started, it is a big push.
Well, they've got to find something. They have Posey in there. They have Peja in there. So a couple guys that have scored, and they're going to call a foul on Joel.
For grabbing the back of Hilton Armstrong's jersey.
Yeah.
Second foul on Prisbilla.
And that's the other way. You don't want to start off making, you know, they get to the bonus early in this fourth quarter.
And they're a good free throw shooting team.
Yeah, and, you know, they're...
Might want to get on Thornton eventually, even though he misses here. And the rebound, Bayless, who played so well in that early in the ball in the first half and really helped Portland dig out of a cold start. And Bayless and Collis and a couple of guys from the Pac-10. Rudy travels with the ball, trying to set his feet behind that three-point line, but early fouls and turnovers are not the way to finish off an opponent.
Now Nate is sitting on the bench, and he's kind of trying to figure out when I'm going to put my starters back in, and immediately Andre Miller comes back into the ballgame.
And with Stojakovic misses again. Stojakovic, as I mentioned, 0 for 8 in their last game against Phoenix. Tonight, 1 for 7 so far.
And
so
this
not a good couple of games.
This would be the time for him to step up. He's had the bad back. Now the back is supposed to be better. What's Travis going to do here?
Hit a 15-foot jump shot and say, take that, Mike Rice.
Well, Hilton Armstrong is the type of guy you just want to get your balance. He's not going to come out on you. He'll block a shot inside, but not out there. Travis can score on him.
Collison and Bayless. Here's Posey. Through the middle, had to be fouled by Prisbilla. He was allowed to go right to the middle. And Andre Miller will check in for Portland.
Posey's one of those guys that's used to getting passes from Chris Paul, and he used to be able to shoot that three-pointer. With Chris Paul out of there, somebody else has to initiate the offense. You could see he didn't look comfortable driving into the middle, but the Blazers bailed him out with bad D.
And Posey lets Portland off the hook with a missed free throw. Andre Miller back in.
See, they have all kinds of confidence in Andre Miller running the offense, making sure the Blazers get into good shots. And in the back of your mind, you know, you want to concentrate on winning this. This is the third straight on the road. But you have to remember, you play tomorrow night.
That's the
Charlotte team that's had 2 days off. Larry Brown yesterday had a 3-hour practice because his guys were playing so bad the game before.
Rudy lob, Prisbilla trying to direct it in. He gathers himself in, scores, and he's fouled. Joel laughing at himself, mad at himself for missing the first time. And
Joel enjoys playing the game.
And you don't often see, you know, he's so intense, but here, and he realizes there he got away with one by missing the first, and then it turns into an and-one situation. And now Emeka Okafor brought back in.
Yeah, Joel was an alley-oop, but he was going to dunk it. He wasn't going to dunk it. In the meantime, I thought Rudy was going to have to end up shooting that. Joel, the most improved foul shooter in the last 10 years. Joel was what, 50% foul shooter. Now you want him on the line.
Oh, absolutely. He's 75% so far on the season.
Make it go left.
Number 1 as a team. Posey, baseline. Shot clock down to 6. Collison goes to the right, missed it. Rebound tip. Prisbilla with one hand holds off Okafor. Portland back 3-on-2 if they hurry.
Boy, look at Rudy look around. He wants to make that special pass.
Rudy's taking only one shot tonight.
That's because they've studied it. Now he's open right now. They can get it to him.
They swing it. Far corner. Webster wouldn't take the 3. Goes to the middle and was fouled. Fortunately for him, it's a little bit out of control. A lot of defenders in there.
Not a little bit out.
Portland 2 for 11 from behind the three-point line. Maybe that's why those guys are hesitating.
And they're a little better, 3 for 11. Martell that time drove right into a lot of people.
Well, during this 4-game winning streak that Portland is on, all the wins have been by double figures, and they'd love to post another big victory here tonight. These teams split the season series 2-2 last year. They played us 3 times this year. They come to Portland only one time, and that's in January. We're back here in March, if you wonder.
Yes. And Blazers just making sure they get the good
outlaw baseline. Tried to go over Okafor, and is tipped away. Thornton missed the shot, and he will shoot free throws. And Nate McMillan is talking to Bill Kennedy about wanting a foul at the other end. Strap tries to make a poster out of Okafor.
You mean they didn't hit Travis Outlaw's arm? Let me see this. This could be the greatest block in the history of the NBA. Look at right there. See him stop his... He stopped his motion. He didn't really foul him, but he stopped him from dunking the ball by hitting his arm. But it was a good effort. The defender was way up, so I can see why they might not call that. Did Marcus miss that?
No, he made it. He made a pair. Thornton has 16 now off the bench. 16 points in 14 minutes.
Of course, Collison was hardly getting any time now with their ace. Chris Paul hurt. He may get a lot more time than he wants.
And this is a fired up young crew in there for New Orleans. Blazers have to continue to score and not be foolish with it and let this team come back on them. And Nate McMillan, knowing that, going to call a conservative timeout. It's only an 11-point game. And it's the hardest part now is you got a brand new coach who's never coached and a bunch of players on the floor you don't know.
What would you do for a Klondike bar? What would you do now that it has a thicker, more chocolatey...
11 right now as New Orleans trying to mount a rally. As we take you back to the Aflac trivia question, Coach Rice, Damon Stoudemire set the Blazer game scoring record individual in 2005 with 54 points here. Who holds the record for scoring in a single quarter?
How about Zach Randolph?
No.
Cliff Robinson.
No, but you're getting there back in a little farther
in that era, huh? How about Terry Porter? Oh, Terry.
He had 25 in a quarter against Golden State in 1992. Of course, Martell Webster had 24 in a quarter against Utah 2 years ago. And this crowd trying to urge this young group of Hornets back into this ball game. Long two, around and out.
Boy, the Blazers, they double teamed very nicely the Hornets. Because that time Travis Outlaw was backing a small man in.
And Bill Kennedy is calling a foul from the backside on LaMarcus Aldridge, and that is LaMarcus Aldridge upset, and that's a big foul in this game. And you couldn't see it from that angle.
Oh, no, not from behind. You know, what he saw was David West jumping up and down, but the outside official that could see it was not buying it. Bill Kennedy bought it from underneath.
They're going to leave Aldridge in there. He was really the guy that helped Portland build the lead early in the third. Right now, by not putting this team away like Portland hasn't, you're playing a dangerous game. Okafor up and under, threw it up long. Aldridge rips down that rebound.
See, they just can't, you know, they want to go to Okafor. He's averaged a double-double throughout his career, but he just can't put the goods away in this ball game.
Portland has been struggling to score in this game as well. Aldridge has been one guy who's gotten them off. Roy, as Oden will check in next whistle. Miller, the wide open two, looks long is at the shot clock buzzer. Ball loose off of Okafor. Blazers get it back. Prisbilla and Aldridge kept that alive, and now Greg Oden in, and Prisbilla with 10 points and 8 rebounds will sit down. Good night for Prisbilla off the bench.
Oh, always. You know, he just gives you that great defensive presence on one end. He's banging the offensive boards on the other. You can depend on him. That's why I like him in the ballgame. He doesn't make mistakes, and he helps you.
Andre Miller zip past Roy, had it knocked away. It'll be Portland ball. Posey trying to save that. And the shot clock won't reset. It's at 13. Well, Roy thought he had smooth sailing there to the rim. It was a great pass.
They have to put the dagger in right now. Don't let this team hang around.
Aldridge, the pick for Miller. Marcus along two is good. And Andre Miller knew where to go with that.
Absolutely. That's why they worked the high pick and roll with him. Andre Miller took the defenders over one more dribble. It was completely cleared out for LaMarcus.
16 points, 9 rebounds for Aldridge, 8 of 14 shooting as well. Thornton again, and he hits again.
Now they have him working the pick and roll. Not a bad idea. Instead of Collison, who's not shooting the ball well, they put Thornton over there, who is shooting the ball well. You have to pressure him before he gets to the pick and roll.
Lob to Oden, trying to catch it over Thornton. The ball's knocked away. And Andre Miller stops the break. But the problem is, by doing that, you're getting into serious foul trouble, team foul trouble, and now Portland with 4. So that means with 6:59 left, Hornets are shooting on every foul the rest of the way.
And you don't need a lob pass into the middle on that. They're going to be just all running to the ball. No, they're looking at the clock now. Yeah, they're not talking about a clear path or anything like that.
I think they announced the wrong who it was on. It was on Miller.
Oh, and it's the team's 5th, so they're shooting? I didn't think it was the 5th foul. That's 4, isn't it?
As the scoreboard had 4 team fouls, the official stats have 5. So this is a long time for a team to be in the penalty, and when you're trying to hang on to a lead against an opponent that you quite possibly should have already put away, again, this is playing with fire.
It is, because now you have that lead and you get a little reluctant you're running the clock a little bit, so you take a shot at the end of the shot clock if you're the Blazers, so you're a little tentative. On the other hand, this ball club is just going to run down the court, and they're going to fire it up, so they'll be loose. This is always a time in an NBA game you get a little nervous. Now, you would know if Chris Paul was in the game that you'd have to, you'd have to really go out and score a little bit. Here, you're just hoping the clock runs down.
And the Hornets have cut it to single digits. Blazers led earlier this half by 16 and looked poised to go ahead and drive in that nail and couldn't do it. Blazers go back to their bread and butter against Aldridge. With Aldridge against Okafor. LaMarcus foul. Gets the bucket as well. 3-point opportunity. And that's an answer.
It sure is. Okafor wasn't going to let him take that fadeaway jumper. He got out on him. And LaMarcus did the right thing with the dribble. He just dipped that left shoulder right into Okafor's chest.
And that's 4 on Okafor now, as Aldridge with 18, a chance to make it 19 in a 3-point play.
Boy, and those are the kind of Oden.
Doesn't, but Oden keeps it alive.
That's inexperience showing on New Orleans' part, not getting that rebound.
Roy shoots past Posey, missed the shot, but Oden follows it home. 4-point possession exactly when Portland needed it most.
Yes, and now the pressure goes on the other team. It's not so easy throwing it up. The Blazers have the bigger lead now, and they're not concerned. So
second chance points, 18-2 Portland. Oh. Thornton takes a fadeaway 3, left it short. Oden grabs the rebound.
That's the kind of shot you take now, a hurried shot. Instead of 9 down, you're double digits.
Miller touched that ball, Bill Spooner says, and Andre's disagreeing. Brandon Roy's saying he didn't either, but they're calling a turnover on Miller. Just the 12th on Portland.
Boy,
so 5:56 left, still almost half the quarter. Blazers trying to finish this one off in New Orleans. Not easy so far.
I'm a fireman. I'm gone sometimes 2 to 4 weeks at a time on fire.
6-3 Blazers on top. 5:56 left in the ball game here in New Orleans. All right, time for the Coors Light freeze play. Coach Rice, you're good at these. What did you select tonight?
Well, almost the same play we saw in Minnesota. How they stopped Brandon Roy from driving and scoring. Watch how the help comes in Okafor. He runs out. Freeze that, John. Right there. Now they've got him covered. The other night he dropped the pass off. Now watch Collison trying to stop Oden on the far side rebounding. He has no chance. Posey and Collison have no chance to stop Oden. So Brandon Roy did the right thing. There was no pass there. He shot the ball on our freeze it.
That's the Coors Light freeze play. New Orleans inbounds after the turnover at midcourt. We looked at the replay, by the way, of that Miller play, and it looked like Bill Spooner made the correct call. It looked like Andre did touch that ball with his off arm. Collison off with the jumper, and Aldridge trying to grab that rebound, loses it out of bounds.
It was LaMarcus and Roy fighting over it.
And that would have been the double-double for L.A., too, which makes it worse. He's got 18 and 9 right now. The inbound to Thornton. Oh, Oden rejects it. Picked up by Aldridge. Now Miller and Blake.
That's smart.
Miller wisely.
That's smart.
Could have pulled it back out.
That was smart basketball.
Second block shot for Oden tonight, by the way.
Get a little better shot here. Run some clock.
Aldridge out to Blake. Takes a big-time three. Short. Rebound. Andre Miller. Portland out rebounding New Orleans this half, 25-7.
Oh, man. That's how the Blazers won last year. They out-rebounded this team.
Roy to Oden. No, he didn't get a good catch on that ball. Otherwise, probably would have had an easy lane. Blake. Drop. Oden, little jumper. Gets the kind roll.
He can shoot that shot.
Oden now with 6 points, 12 rebounds. And that's 20 second chance points, by the way. Collison. And another block for Oden. Will they give him the block? Yes, they do. 3 blocks for Greg Oden now in the game. And Portland getting it under control now after a little scare after a New Orleans run.
Oden, 2.8 blocks a game. He's up in the top 3 for centers and blocks.
Heard it all tonight.
Yes. Now if you're Nate, you're thinking about substituting.
Miller for 3. He would have there if that had gone in.
Yeah, right.
Now comes Collison on the break. Oden tracking him. Another block. Oden didn't even mean to knock poor Collison down. Oden was backing up to take that ball out of bounds, and now it's like stepping on a kitten or something. He didn't mean to.
The Blazers, of course, if they'd have scored that basket, they might have said, but only 13 up. You don't goof around with 4 minutes to go.
Shot clock at 5. Roy, hesitation on Posey, takes the bump and scores. 15 for Roy.
And they cleared it out, and they went back to LaMarcus. They were going to stop LaMarcus on that pick and pop.
Here's Posey against Roy. Foul going to be on Brandon, and that's going to be free throws for James Posey. Brandon mad at himself. You know you don't want to foul. Certainly Roy knows that.
And you got a lot of help in there with LaMarcus and Oden.
Now, Brandon hasn't shot it well tonight. 5 of 15. But you look at his line in the game. 15 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists. And that's kind of, with the balanced scoring, more of what we're going to see, I think.
Yes. And here's he waited till it cleared out. He could have done a number of things there. A little alley-oop with his left hand to Oden. But he chose to take it all the way to the rim because there's no shot blockers in the game.
And Posey made a pair. 13-point Portland lead.
Well, the new coach, Jeff Bauer, I don't know how he'll feel about this. This team only with 67 points with 3 minutes to go in the game. He probably wanted a little more energy, a little more excitement in this game.
Roy crosses over on Posey, gets hit. Oh, there was Oden. West knocked it away, but Greg follows the play and jams.
I'll tell you, when you got that guy waiting to pounce either with a pass or a rebound, you can win some games in the fourth quarter.
Okafor takes it at Oden. And Greg called for the foul. That's his 4th. So 4 fouls in 2 games. You can deal with that.
Oh, absolutely.
And Portland looking to finish this one off and make it 5 straight wins and a perfect 3-0 to start this 5-game road trip.
Change your color. Change your life.
during Miller Paint's store-wide paint sale. Now's the perfect time to take advantage of Miller's exquisite color lineup, all backed with the knowledge and expert advice you need to make the perfect color choice. Even our full Divine color line is on sale, so your only color limit is your imagination. Give your home the color you've been dreaming about at your local Miller Paint store. Miller Paint, our paint since 1890.
Way out west, there's a story told about a bunch of cowboys, tiny and bold, riding tall, all in the saddle, herding cows the size of schnauzers, but they're cattle. Yippee-yi-yay, mini sirloin burgers. Yippee-yi-yo, mini sirloin burgers. Yippee-yi-yay, mini sirloin burgers. Ha!
It's winter out there, and you've still got places to go. Wherever you're headed, whatever the weather, depend on Les Schwab to get you there. We'll help you make the right choice from a great selection of all-season tires, traction tires, and easy-to-install chains. And remember, a reliable battery is important in winter, too. Les Schwab Tires. We help make getting there safer.
Bob Akamian and Michael Holton in the home court studios. Post-game show is coming up. Trailblazers on their way to victory number 5 in a row, and some nice ball movement to get the big guy involved offensively.
Ball movement solves a lot of ills, and in the first half, the ball wasn't moving here. It started with Greg Oden and went all the way around the horn, and he dusted off his medium-range jumper. Just when you thought he didn't have one, Greg Oden, medium-range jump shot.
And, of course, Oden's been doing the job on the boards all night long. Now he's adding some offense. Let's get you back for the finish with Mike and Mike.
All right, guys, indeed he has. 8 points, 12 rebounds for Oden, 3 block shots as well. And, you know, we talk about consistency, and we saw flashes from Oden last year in certain games. Now we're seeing it on a night-to-night basis. Had that great game in Minnesota. He backs it up against Okafor tonight with a very solid game.
Yeah, and if he goes out, it's Joe Prisbilla comes in with 10 points and 8 rebounds. So you're getting
with 3 block shots as well, yeah, so 6 between the 2 of them.
Yeah, the center position, we said the other night, they're never in there together, so that center position is giving you the best stats in the NBA.
And Okafor will shoot free throws after the Oden foul, his 4th.
Okafor never a good foul shooter, as I remember.
Oh, take that. They had 4 on the season. Just 58%.
Yes.
It didn't look like it there.
Their defense has suffered since Tyson Chandler has left. He was a little more active, and he worked the pick and roll much better with Chris Paul. So we'll be seeing him tomorrow night in Charlotte.
Second of a back-to-back, and then the trip wraps up Monday at Atlanta.
Raja Bell's back playing. Morris Diaw, of course. They've got a nice ball club in Charlotte when they're healthy.
Charlotte, Portland has never really played well in Charlotte. Here's Aldridge again. Long this time.
All of a sudden, Thornton is the man.
Collison to the rim, lays it in. Oden was there and kind of backed away at the last second, and it's an 11-point game with 2 minutes left.
They'll know how to milk the clock. They'll make sure. But I'm sure Nate would have loved to rest his starters a little bit more in this 4th quarter.
Roy thought about the 3. Shot clock down to 5. Taking it against Posey. Tough shot. Hand in his face. No. Aldridge. Offensive rebound. No. Got it back again. And dunks with the right hand.
Whoa, man.
20 points, 13 rebounds for Aldridge. What a ball game.
That's a big front line right there. Ooh.
You talk about your front line. As Portland, another 3. West got away with a little push, and the foul goes on Aldridge. But your front line in the second half, Aldridge, Oden, Prisbilla combined for 31 points, 19 rebounds, and 4 blocks just in the second half.
See, and you knew Nate. All you had to do was look at the stats of the outside shooting in the first half, And Nate went in and looked at that. Blazers were 1 for 9 from the three-point line. They were shooting 30%, 14 for 46. They were winning the points in the paint battle, 14 to 22, but you knew the Blazers were going to pound it inside with Aldridge, Oden, and Przybilla. And as you said, MB, 31 points, 19, 4 blocks the second half.
Blazers will not only win their 5th straight game, they'll improve to 4-1 on the road, and that was a point of emphasis for Nate McMillan, of course, with his team wanting to be a better road team. And maybe more impressively, this will be their 5th straight victory by double digits, as when you look back at when this winning streak started after the Atlanta loss at home, and the 3-guard lineup was then put in against San Antonio, and since then it's smooth sailing.
Well, the 2 more games on the road trip, 2 big games, 2 teams that play very well. Between them, they only, I think, have 1 loss at home, Atlanta and Charlotte.
That's Webster, skip pass to Outlaw, shot clock at 5. Back to Bayless. He's been hitting some threes. Takes a step in 2 here. And off the mark, and now the Hornets will follow suit and dump the rest of their bench. Collison nearly got the bucket and the foul. And this may not be a double-digit win by the time it's over. We'll see.
Well, welcome to the NBA, Jeff Bauer. It's not as easy as it looks.
And it doesn't look easy.
No. And, of course, those 2 that are sitting next to each other were head coach and assistant coach back in 2003.
Tim Floyd, is that the name you're looking for?
Tim Floyd. They were 41 and 41 here in 2003, and that's when they fired Tim Floyd and brought in Byron Scott to coach the ball club. So, boy, it just depends on how badly the sprained ankle is for Chris Paul.
It didn't look good.
No, it didn't. And if he's out for any length of time, they really don't have a strong...
Because they're going to fall to 3 and 7.
They don't have a lot of depth to begin with.
Juwan Howard throws it up short. And the Blazers' streak of double-digit victories is in jeopardy. By double digits, I should say. Collison 14 points.
They won't like that, letting Collison get to the rim every time. You don't want to foul him, but at the same time, layups.
Bayless had it poked away, and here's Collison again. So it'll look a little closer than it actually was, but Portland won't mind. They'll take the victory and move on, as they won't have to shoot here. And try and keep the road trip perfect, but they have guaranteed, at the worst, as a foul is called with 6 seconds left, a winning road trip. And I know that's very important to Coach McMillan.
Oh, you know, that's last year the Blazers were 1 under 500 on the road, 34 and 7 at home.
Yes.
And the 4th best home record. So they slipped a little at the start of the year. They had the lead at half in 2 different ball games, Houston and Denver, and they lost those games. And that hadn't happened to them in a year's time. They were 26-0 when leading at the half last year. So
it rattled them a little bit.
Little slippage, and it kind of rattled the fan base. I think everybody's back on board.
And this will do it. So Portland gets a victory here in New Orleans, where they haven't fared that well in the past. They split the season series last year winning here, but tonight get the victory and stay perfect on the road trip, led by LaMarcus Aldridge. 20 points, 13 rebounds, and that front line was devastating for Portland tonight, Coach. But how big is this win?
Oh, it's big. You know, you looked at the road trip, the first 2, of course, 2 teams that are a little bit undermanned, and all of a sudden now you win this when Chris Paul goes out with an injury, and my partner has LaMarcus Aldridge. This way. The camera's going the wrong way. Go ahead, Coach.
All right, thank you, Mr. Rice. L.A., nice win tonight. It wasn't real pretty early on, but you guys weathered the storm.
It was a tough game for us. So I think this is the 3rd game, and I don't know how many nights. I think guys are starting to get homesick, so I think we have pulled it through, but it was ugly.
3rd quarter seemed like Nate started going to you. You were the guy with the hot hand, and he was just riding you over and over again because, again, things weren't going well for either team.
I was just fresh, you know. I got to not play the whole second quarter. You know, Nate told me to be ready for the third quarter, and I was.
You guys talked about being a better road team this season. I know that was big for you. Now you've guaranteed a winning road trip, 3 straight on this trip. That's got to feel good.
Yeah, it feels good, but you know, we're not satisfied. You know, they won't try to win all 5 of us.
And talk about how much easier life is on you when you have guys like Joel Prisbilla and Greg Oden making up that devastating front line.
Makes it a lot easier. You know, I always know they got my back. You know, I think, you know, Greg is getting more like Joe, you know, blocking more shots and being more active.
And now get greedy and get Charlotte and Atlanta, make it a perfect trip.
Yes, sir.
All right, LA. See you in a while.
Thank you.
All right. LaMarcus Aldridge, big night for him tonight as the Trailblazers get the victory behind, in large part, that front line tonight. Prisbilla, Oden, Aldridge get the job done. 86-78. Trailblazers win it here in New Orleans, and now it's off to Charlotte and then Atlanta to wrap up the trip.